Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lord Kitchener Owen Roberts Auditorium of the National Academy of the Performing Arts. We are making every effort to ensure that your theatre experience is safe and comfortable. In the event of an emergency during the performance, an announcement will be made and the ushers will escort you out of the building via the exit closest to you to the muster point at the northeastern car park at the entrance of the compound. You are to proceed immediately but calmly. Please take a moment to identify the exit nearest to you. Eating, drinking and chewing of gum is not allowed in the auditorium. This is also a smoke-free building. Please note that any unauthorized recording of this performance, either through video or photograph, is strictly prohibited. A reminder that all mobile phones and other electronic devices should be turned off at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to stand for the national anthem of our twin island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, delivered this afternoon by the Eastern Chorale. We ask that you remain standing for an interfaith prayer offering by religious leaders of the Christian, Muslim, and Hindu faiths.
Almighty Allah, creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for this day. We ask you to bless each and every one of our members who are present here this evening. We ask you to bless our Prime Minister, all members of Cabinet, and all our candidates. Grant us peace, happiness, and victory in your name. Amen.
O God, the protector, the basis of all life, who is self-existent, who is free from all pains, whose contact frees the soul from all troubles, who pervades the universe and sustains all, the creator and energizer of the entire giver of happiness, and who is worthy of acceptance, the most excellent, who is pure, and the purifier of all. Let us embrace that very God, so that he may direct our mental faculties in the right direction.
As we continue to pray, Heavenly Father, we give you praise, honor, and glory for this blessed day that you have brought all of us here together. It is by your will that we are here, Lord God, and we continue to serve our people through this great party. Lord God, we ask you, as we continue to get our campaign and the service to this country on the way, take the wheel, Lord God, and guide us. Direct our path as you will have us. We ask you to now and invite you to come within our midst and take us forward. We ask this in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. deliver. Because you see, we in Trinidad and Tobago are at crossroads, and it is important that the national population understands the crossroads that we are at. These crossroads, some of which are outside of our control in the world of geopolitics, but what is within our control is the choice that we will make on August 14th. And that choice has to be to return the People's National Movement to power at local government elections. And to you, the population, who are not fortunate to be here in the full Napa Hall or on the outside, filling the tents that are here, these are the messages for you as you make your decision whom to vote for on August 14th, and why the PNM continues to be not only the right choice, but the only choice. Let me give you the latest example of how volatile our world has become. Any of you observing what took place yesterday, in a far-off place it may seem, with the Russia-Ukraine war, did you see what took place as certain people crossed the boundary into Russia and were making their way to Moscow? Those are the types of things that now affect the geopolitics of the world and have trickle-down effects to Trinidad and Tobago. So you, the population looking on, consider the following. Over the last 8 years, the People's National Movement, under the leadership of our Prime Minister, has gone forth in the corridors all over the world. And you all would have been seeing the work that we are doing all over the world, in particular over the last few years. One, during the global pandemic of COVID, and the leadership that the People's National Movement and Dr. Rowley in particular played in ensuring that we got vaccines when the rest of the world was leaving us behind. Do not take these things for granted when you are deciding on the 14th of August who to return to govern Trinidad and Tobago at the local government level. On the 24th of February last year, when the Russia-Ukraine conflict began, and it had ripple effects throughout the globe, a number of things were taking place. Once again, I can say this without fear of contradiction, it is the leadership of the People's National Movement that has led our voice, very quietly at first, but rising over the past year to become an important one in global decisions with something called energy security. Because you see, during that period, people globally realized the importance of energy security, and how when you turn on your switch in your house, or you turn on your stove for gas, where that comes from. It was PNM policy that made us one of the most important players in the global gas industry decades ago. It is PNM leadership that over the past year has sat quietly and negotiated in many, many places across the globe to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago remains at the forefront of that decision making. Can you imagine? Let your minds go to that dark place if for a moment it was not a PNM government in power. Let your minds consider if it was not a PNM government being at the tables, having the conversations, you, President, other globe, with those in Europe, Venezuela, else make sure that the right decisions are taken. How does that affect us on August 14th? It is because of PNM policy that has taken place over decades, that has been taught to us, that has been carried out by our leader, that Trinidad and Tobago has been able to remain stable when many others have not been able to remain stable, coming out during the period of COVID, coming out and now into what is an energy crisis. Our party has shown itself once again as the only party with strength in Trinidad and Tobago.
And today, as we gather here, once again being able to keep our party's promise to the nation and to all of the population, take note that we are the only political party that is fielding 141 candidates. So no matter where you're voting on August 14th, be it down in Cedrus, be it in Diego Martin, be it in Lavantil, be it in Sandy Grande, be it in San Fernando, you will find a People's National Movement candidate on that sheet in front of you. No other party in Trinidad can claim that. Your party has a constitution. Your party is guided by a constitution and the rules and the laws of that constitution. And you, the population, take careful note. The party went through a grueling screening, and as a member of that screening committee that is determined by our party's constitution, is not determined by the political leader saying, you come and take a line with me tonight, we go choose some candidates. Our party's constitution for the last 67 years is what we are founded on. No other party in Trinidad and Tobago has that. And you, the voting population, take note. As we sat at that screening committee, I was once again proud, humbled, and felt privileged to be chosen by the membership to be part of our screening, because we saw a variety of our citizens of all races, all creeds, all ethnicities, all religious persuasions. And even some who are not with the PNM jump on board with the PNM because they recognize that we are the only way to go. And today we have come here to present our 141 candidates to the population of Trinidad and Tobago, to ask that on the 14th of August, a few weeks away, you come out and make sure to put the right people to govern your local government issues. Do not take God out of your thoughts and be swayed by those who have a big mouth and all they could speak on is one topic, or those who are trying to pull others who have no following into their fold because they know that is the only way you could come to the battlefield against this sea of the Red Army who will always do what is right for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the People's National Movement. So I stand here today as a citizen of this country, proud to be associated with this party, as you will see us present 141 sound candidates, the best that this country has to offer. And even in that screening session, it was difficult at times to make our decision because of the high quality of candidates. You will see that one of the legacies of Dr. Rowley since the 2013 local government election is that we are always introducing young, bright, vibrant, intelligent people into our local government. Today is no different, but in addition to that, there's a balance with the more experienced, mature, calm leadership that we need. So people, my job is a simple one, to put the facts before you, and in particular the population looking on, and to tell you that the decision that you must make on the 14th of August is firstly, come out and vote. Do not for a moment think that is a local government election and I don't need to vote. Wrong. Because we have to send a signal, the rest of the world is looking, that the PNM must remain in control and leadership of steering the ship of Trinidad and Tobago. The second choice you make as you go into every polling booth as a citizen, after you've chosen to put your finger and your X, is put your X next to the balize on the 14th of August. Make the right choice for your children. Because you see, you will hear a lot more this evening about local government reform and what we've been fighting for. The moment is now and it has come, and others will speak to that. My view and my simple plea to you is make the right choice, and there is only one choice on August 14th. This party that has a 67-year history and is the strongest party not only in Trinidad and Tobago but in the region is once again giving you, the population, a choice no matter where you go to vote. And that should not be underestimated. Because you see, as I was coming on stage, one of our stalwarts said, today is a good day, because whilst the week may start on a Monday, the strong start on a Sunday. And today is Sunday, the God's day, when the PNM is presenting its candidates. Leadership at its best once again. So PNM family, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, welcome. Welcome to our special convention as we present 141 candidates. And thank you for coming out in your thousands and in your numbers as we make this happen. And on the 14th of August, may we all assemble in every single district as we say, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Thank you.
Welcome back to us on stateside. You just heard from our chairman, Stuart Young. He was giving us an overview of the party and the reason for this election. There are a few big issues, Laurel.
Yes.
We've got our opponents in Trinidad saying, listen, forget reform, it's not necessary. Don't think about property tax, it's dangerous. And there's a focus on crime and security. So let's talk about those elephants in the room. This local government reform, in the context of bringing revenue into the hands of people that manage our lives, is what the reform is about.
Yeah.
It's about taking a property tax, $3 to $8 a day per household.
And that's
on the upper end, $8 a day.
very reasonable.
On the lower end, it may be $0. And by that, bringing nearly $60 million extra on average per corporation.
And so we're going to pause right here because we're going stateside now, Trinidad and Tobago, and you are going to see a performance from Benjai. Enjoy it.
Well, we'll
From
stand together underneath the red, white, and black banner, yeah. Burn out corruption like leaves, it a scatter. Tricks and insult the people, them flatter. The partnership done sink already. We voting steady for Dr. Keith Rowley. Ready the right time. We make up we mind to build back this. Come on, say let's do this. I ain't all you. Let's do this. On the show. Let's do this. Run out my candidates. Are you ready then? PNM family. Say let's do this. Should be a go, but you ready? We rolling with the red army. You're for the la 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 la. We often boast and say God is a Trinity, a blessed nation, the Caribbean envy. But all of a sudden, like the place get heavy, things now move right. God no like ugly. Say come on, my people, let's do this together. Build back this nation for one another. Tell them the country deserve better, brighter days. Say let's do this. I ain't too good. Let's do this. Let's do this. You're for the love of you. On the top, on the top, on the top. Come on, let's do this. Chin me and go by you ready. September, my people are plead for Dr. Rowley and the PNM. Say let's do this. PNM family. Let's do this. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's do this. You're for the love of your country. Place your vote with it. Let's do this. Jimmy, go get ready. Yeah. We standing with the red army. Lock it up, Talparo. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yo, 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 PNM family. Are you ready? Let me see some hands, let me see some hands. Mr. PNM. Let's do this. The love of your country. Let's do this. Love my family. My PNM family. The PNM family.
Huge!
Football is back! The TT Premier League brings the thrill of pro football to venues throughout the country and on your screen. 12 teams, one title, and TTT Sports has every angle on First Team. TTT's got the games. Wayne Cunningham, Jovan Ravello, and expert analysts break down the action every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on First Team. Catch the highlights, hear the views from the top tier. First Team, 8:30 p.m. Tuesdays on the home of the TT Premier Football League. TTT.
Round 2 of the 2023 First Citizens National Poetry Slam semi-finals is coming Sunday, 25th June at 8 p.m. right here on TTT. Witness the power of storytelling as 16 poets step into the village circle on the biggest stage for spoken word in the Caribbean. They're facing off for a spot in the Grand Slam, a shot at the title of champion, and $50,000 cash. Don't miss it. The First Citizens National Poetry Slam, powered by NGC Bukas Litfest, TTT, and sponsored by First Citizens. We put you first.
Be watching Let's Talk Tobago on TTT, Sundays 9:30 a.m. and rebroadcast Tuesdays 8 p.m.
Did you tell your hubby about it, first of all?
I did.
When you were telling him, did you think that he was going to think differently of you or less of you?
I thought exactly that.
In case you've missed it, it's an encore of Nicole Larson Live. Relive some of the riveting experiences of everyday people who candidly shared with me their stories, life challenges, stories of hope, and eventual victories.
Because he is not like man, because he is the God. It is a promise that we can hold on to.
The report came back that she had two properly...
Eric, behave yourself, no man.
Two properly working kidneys.
An encore of Nicole Larson Live, living in victory every day. Coming soon to TTT.
screening continued in the Southland with Rio Claro Mayaro Regional Corporation, Princestown Regional, and Penal Debe Regional Corporations. And finally, screening committee concluded its business on Wednesday, the 14th of June, 2023, at the PNM Central Regional Head Office with the Chaguanas Borough Corporation and the Couva Tabaki Talparo Corporation. After 7 days and very long nights of screening more than 500 nominees, 141 PNM standard bearers were selected. This group of prospective candidates is representative of the PNM itself, multi-religious, multi-racial, comprised of young and experienced professionals, entrepreneurs, former councillors, and community activists with a healthy gender balance. The quality and caliber of persons making the right choice to serve the PNM is nothing short of exceptional. The future of the PNM surely looks bright. On Thursday, the 22nd June 2023, at the Central Executive's monthly meeting held in Port-au-Spain, the 141 prospective candidates were presented by the political leader and chairman of the screening committee for ratification. The Central Executive accepted the screening committee's recommendations. This was subsequently reported to the General Council. The convention is now asked to take note of the 141 candidates and that the regulations for the election of party representatives on the legislative bodies as outlined in the party's constitution has been followed as we proceed to contest the 2023 local government election. With pride, the PNM boasts that in 2023, we will maintain our record as the only party in Trinidad and Tobago to field a candidate in every single electoral district nationwide. Indeed, this is just but one of the achievements that makes the PNM great. Let us join in celebrating the constituencies, executives, and the screening committee for the hard work, diligence, discipline, and leadership displayed in conducting another democratic and seamless screening process. We also congratulate the 141 prospective candidates and our new standard bearers that would, after nomination day tomorrow, would be our next crop of leaders. We wish you all well. Go out there, knock on every door, and bring home the PNM votes in every electoral district. When this is done, and the votes are counted on August 14th, we will all be able to say on that great evening that great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed.
We are here at the General Council at Napa. This is the People's National Movement. We are on the local government election.
And we want to apologize, first of all, because we were off here for a little while. We experienced some technical difficulties, but we're back with you. We're back here to carry this special convention with you. Yes, Faris, you were saying?
Yeah, so this represents our convention where the candidates are presented and accepted. We have 141 candidates being presented. Factually, in the 2019 election, 73 councillors came from the PNM and 66 from the UNC. 30 PNM aldermen, 26 UNC aldermen, with a split of 7-7 between the corporations. This election is all about local government reform. In the reform, we intend to treat with issues of anti-crime measures. We intend to treat with the economy.
Absolutely. Matters that are very relevant to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, in your homes and in your private spaces, and your family and the operations of your family.
Yes, and we're proposing that we get more money into the hands of councillors more decision making into the hands of mayors.
Yes.
And therefore that there's a faster response time.
And so we're going to take a little break now, Faris. We're cutting stage side now to hear from our Lady Vice Chairman, the Member of Parliament for Aruka Maloney, and the Minister of Planning, the Minister of Housing, and Urban Development, the Honourable Camille Robinson-Regis.
Members of the only true political party in Trinidad and Tobago, I bring you greetings from the Women's League of the PNM. I am here to talk to the 141 candidates, those of you who will bring our election home to the People's National Movement. You are the standard bearers of a party with great traditions, with great principles, and with great values. You are the patriots of this land, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You candidates, I say to you that the baton is passed to you. And like those who served previously, you must continue in the great traditions of the People's National Movement. Our party, which began in 1955 and was inaugurated in 1956 under the leadership of our founder, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. Our party that has continued in those great traditions under George Michael Chambers, under Patrick Augustus Mervyn Manning, under our leader phenomenal, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. You are the ones who must continue with those traditions. In 1956, Trinidad and Tobago was simply another colony to Britain, an outpost supplying its home market mainly with sugar and then with oil. But what was needed was just that spark, a person who could have provided our foreparents with leadership, telling them that they were capable of a better life, giving them a vision, giving them a charter. And Eric Eustace Williams did that with a small band of believers. He mobilized the country, touching the soul of that generation, creating what was to become this great independent nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, the PNM that our candidates will be representing was formed based on the People's Charter of 1956. And I urge all candidates to have a copy of that document. It is not an idealistic or outdated document. Its principles are very alive today. It's a living monument which may be applied to us today even more than ever before. Hopefully, you will recognize that once you are elected, that your goal is to serve people and make their lives better. You will also recognize that politics is not about you. Politics is not about holding office. It is about the furtherance of the common good or the people's good. I implore you today to understand that politics is all about leaving your egos at the door. From the moment you are declared winner, every day from henceforth should be about reducing your ego. Your days instead should be about serving selflessly.
serving your constituents in the interest of all. And I tell you this today because what truly is the alternative to the traditional values and principles of the PNM? We see the alternative every day on the political landscape. And if you are like me and others like me who are in the parliament, you see what our political opponents are like, where their perspectives lie. They have no vision. They are locked into times of trouble. They are locked into seasons of discontent. They are locked into bacchanal, scandal, viciousness. And I say to you today that there comes a time in a person's life when you must make a decision that will profoundly impact on your life. And in some instances, you, and I'm hearing the music, but I'm not going to stop. I have a lot to say. I ask you today to remember that the PNM's purpose and your purpose is to serve our citizens. I ask you today to remember that we are faced with those who are opposed to us, who revel in Kankatang. They are just a pickup side. The opposition has a well-documented history of presenting persons for you to vote for of dubious character. Look at Zambo or Rambo. Look at the chief whip who is on bail. Look at Arnold Ram, who was fired from TSCT. Look at bilingual Ravi Rati Ram, who could speak better Spanish than English. Ladies and gentlemen, the real issue in this election is that you must not be apathetic. You must go out and vote. You must go out and ensure that on August 14th, the PNM has won as many seats as possible and that we are successful. Ladies and gentlemen, Aristotle said that men come together in cities in order to live, but they remain together in order to live the good life. Let us lead the good life under the leadership of a good man, Keith Christopher Rowley, a man that I and the Women's League and this party will follow to the ends of the earth. A man who has been the first in so many accomplishments, yet a man who has continuously put country before himself. Our leader phenomenal, Keith Christopher Rowley. We are proud to follow you. We are PNM and proud. We are the People's National Movement. We are no ordinary party. We are a party doing extraordinary work. And you, the 141 candidates, you must do extraordinary work in this election. And never forget, Magnum SPNM 8 prevail a bit. Magnum SPNM 8 prevail a bit. Magnum SPNM 8 prevail a bit. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. Thank you.
What a fantastic presentation from our Lady Vice Chairman. And she's had such a powerful message that she sent to the people in the auditorium, a packed auditorium, I must say, thousands of people inside and outside, but such a powerful message, Faris. She talked about voter apathy and the importance of voting in this election.
Absolutely. So why come out and vote? Why should we be a part and parcel of this? On test, the government says reform brings greater power, as we've been seeing today. But what we're actually saying is we're taking power away from central government, and in taking it away from central government, we're giving it to the people. So no more direct ministerial control, no more delay in a message reaching Port of Spain. It's instead power in the hands of people.
And we'll pause right here, and we'll continue this conversation and go backstage side for some entertainment.
Make me jump and fed 3 hours. Nah, soca just give me powers. Yeah, drink me rum and share with others. Fed 3 hours. This is soca powers. It's a wonderful feeling. On stage together, holding we banners with different colors. Look, we crossing the stage. Oh, we party in sun no rain. Don't care what the people say. Until I go down here, when she wanna take me away. All of my friends will say, I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal, no. I'm phenomenal. We're phenomenal. They know we're phenomenal. We're phenomenal. Whoa, you're phenomenal. You're phenomenal. Yeah, 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 yeah. Soca does give me powers. Yeah, turn we into masqueraders. Nah, soca does give me powers. Yeah, draw we shit the different colors. As masqueraders, we get we powers. It's a wonderful feeling. On stage together, holding we banners. PNM wear colors. We crossing the stage. Car, we party in sun or rain. We don't care what the people say. Party night and day, we party night and day. This is PNM way. All of my friends will say, you're phenomenal. I'm phenomenal, no. I'm phenomenal.
Benjai says soca does give me powers. We say local government reform gives you power.
Absolutely. You the people. You the people. This is your chance to use your power.
For we. This is a we issue. This is a we issue on reform. So we've been talking, we've been skirting, we've been touching, we've been talking about the need to give power. We're really saying take power from central government and give it to local government. Folks, what does that mean? I'm Minister of Rural Development and Local Government. I can tell you sometimes it takes 6 months to get a message to change a signatory for a bank account. And while that bank account time is not with the signatories there, money can't spend. We are saying put the power into the hands of the corporations.
Absolutely.
Let ministers operate now, councillors as ministers, CEOs as permanent secretaries with more revenue.
Absolutely.
So, Laurel, I'm sure that you will agree, a residential property tax at $3 a day, giving us $60 million in a corporation, is the manner in which we fix roads.
Yes.
Manage schools, and importantly, we address crime and security. Folks, remember we have 1,500 municipal police in terms of strength.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is to ask for the population to be aware of this. We're getting buzz to head back stateside. There's a lot going on today.
We are pleased to start presenting our 141 candidates to you. This will be done in municipalities.
Yes.
Yes. And
beginning with
the borough of Diego Martin.
There we go.
The borough of Diego Martin.
So let's flip stateside. Let's begin to see our candidates, who you're going to vote for, folks. Pay attention. They're all good.
Soon.
My political leader, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, all my members of the executive of the PNM, party members, distinguished guests, supporters, and our beautiful candidates. It is my privilege to announce and introduce to you the candidates for the borough of Diego Martin. You heard that? The borough of Diego Martin. Not the region, the borough. Trinidad's newest borough. And these candidates will be contesting in the borough for the first time. Now, Diego Martin, for those of you who don't know Diego Martin, a very diversified place. All sorts of things happen in Diego Martin. We have industry, we have housing, we have recreation, we have land, we have sea, we have rivers, we have everything you could possibly imagine. We have culture. That is Diego Martin for you. We have nature. So, without any further ado, let me start with our first candidate, the incumbent and returning for the district of Bagatelle Blue Basin, Alina Wren.
We love you so, we take good care of you. Only the PNM understands. We love you so, we take good care of you. Only the PNM.
And a new candidate for the district of Bellevue, Bossier number 1, Samuel Carter.
You can depend on PNM has a vision, PNM has a plan. We take good care of you, PNM understands.
Another new candidate for the district of Chagaramas Point, Kumana, Kevin Williams.
We take good care of you, only the PNM has a plan. TT card for groceries, medicine for free, houses to live in, gas subsidy, free education, ABC to
Returning
PhD.
for the district of Covine Rich Plain, Avenel Boyce.
We take good care of you, only the PNM understands. We love you so, we take good care of you, only the PNM has a plan.
Another incumbent returning for the district of Diamondville, Kida James.
We love you so, we take good care of you, only the PNM understands. We love you so, we take good care of you, only
And another incumbent for the district of Glencoe, Goodwood, La Puerta, Amber Kane.
You can depend on PNM has a vision, PNM has a plan. We take good care of you, PNM understands. We love you so.
A new candidate for the district of Mocha, Bossier, number 2, Damien Fonillier. Another new candidate for the district of Montcoco, Alice Glen, Lisa Richards Cole.
Love TNT, we go follow Rowley. Kid Rowley, go lead with the victory. PNM Warriors, with your bodies in
And returning
for
the district of Pitty Valley, Cokery, the well-known Marcia Maslin.
Everybody get on board with Franklin Farris and Ashton Ford. Colin Marlin, Imbert and Donna Box.
And finally, rounding out the 10 districts that we will win in August. All 10 got a little hiccup 2010, but since then we have taken back all 10 districts in Diego Martin, rounding out the 10th candidate, a new candidate for St. Lucian Cameron, Chelsea Mendez, our 10th victorious PNM candidate, bringing home 10 districts, all 10 in Diego Martin. So could the 10 candidates for Diego Martin please take a bow?
And before people suffer, tell them we come in, we come in, we come in, we come in, we come in. Warn them, go on the anointed God. We come in to bust throat. He go have one big regret, clause 34, we will forget. No.
Now we move to another corporation, the capital city. I don't need to tell all of you all about Port of Spain, the nation's capital, which will remain the nation's capital under this PNM administration. And we are winning all 12 seats again in Port of Spain. All 12. So returning For Belmont East, Nicole Young.
This election was like war among them party. When I was more than
Another incumbent for Belmont, North and West, Malua Bond.
He who end up without a seat. Not a damn seat for them. Mama, that's what Chamber said. Not a damn seat for them. Not a single seat.
And those wonderful candidates. Belmont South, a new candidate, Raphael Bonds.
They call in Chambers a Obia man.
Returning for East Dry River, the incumbent Clint Batiste. Another incumbent returning for Northern Port of Spain, Abina Hartley.
This election was like war among them parties.
Another incumbent.
When I was more than sure they win
returning for Southern Port of Spain, Dennis Bristol.
But when the rest complete, is he who end up without a seat. Not a damn seat for them. Mama, that's what Chamber said.
Not a damn seat for them.
Not a single seat on election day.
Returning for St. Anne's Central, another incumbent, Esther Sylvester. And now a new candidate for the district of St. Anne's River North, Alicia Gift.
Them ONR jump and wine,
another incumbent,
a big show.
Returning for St. Anne's River South, Janelle Frederick.
They say they're going to cut the throat, Sparrow tattoo ball, when you hear not a seed at all. Not a damn seed for them. Sparrow, that's ingratitude. Not a damn seed for them. You buy the finger that
for St. James East, the well-known incumbent, Jamil Bisnat. A new candidate for St. James West, Imran Khan.
We bluff the antique, we go follow
And finally, rounding out the 12 districts that we will win convincingly in August, for Woodbrook, a new candidate, Owen St. Rose.
We come in. Everybody get on board with Franklin.
So those are our 10 victorious candidates for Port of Spain. Take a bow. All right, it's been my pleasure to announce 22 victorious candidates of the PNM for Diego Martin and Port of Spain. Thank you.
We go follow Rowley.
Bringing home the Diego Martin and Port of Spain corporations for the People's National Movement. PNM family, make some noise to the PNM candidates from the borough of Diego Martin and the Port of Spain City Corporation. Next, presenting our candidates for the San Fernando City Corporation and the Princestown Regional Corporation. Please put your hands together for our party's Assistant General Secretary and Chairman of the formidable San Fernando East constituency, Miss Patricia Alexis.
PNM family, San Fernando. It is my distinct pleasure to present to you the right candidates that will lead us to victory on August 14th. Ladies and gentlemen, your candidates for the San Fernando City Corporation are as follows. Mr. Nigam Joseph for Springvale Paradise. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a man from Marabella, South Vistabella, who knows what winners look like, who knows what the right choice looks like, who knows what right leadership looks like. On August 14th, Marcus Gadari will be representing Marabella, South Vistabella.
Tell them we come in. Everybody get on board with Franklin Paris and Ashton Ford.
In Pleasantville, a son of the PNM, Mr. Robert Paris. Kokie Taruba. She's capable. She's committed. She's fierce. Teresa Lynch.
Keep Rowley, bully with the victory. PNM warriors, with your bodies in hand.
He's relentless. Nigel Cotier, Monifo Navet.
We come in. Everybody get on board with Franklin Paris and Ashton Ford.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man stands with a family that has a proud legacy of service. Mr. Riyad Hussein, Lesotho East Peru. And it's time to bring Marabella East back to the PNM. Mr. Dave Paras for Marabella East.
Keep Rowley, bully with the victory. PNM warriors, with your bodies in hand. We taking back we country, we taking back we land. Tell them we come in.
Marabella West, we will be bringing Miss Jamila Marisol to represent you, the right choice.
Calling man in Imbert and Box.
And last, but by no means least, Mr. Mohammed, Saeed Mohammed, for Lesotho West Laramie, the right choice.
PNM.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating your prospective candidates for the San Fernando City Corporation.
Too much thief and corruption and too much bubble. She feels she could run this country only on alcohol. Flam here, flam she they're flying in helicopter while they empty the treasury and we poor people suffer.
Now move on to Princestown. And we are confident that this team is ready to bring reform to Princestown. Your candidates are Mr. Tyrese Mitchell for Ben Lamont Hardbarg in Williamsville. For Corinth Cedar Hill, I present to you Mr. Teclasion Atali. There is only one choice, the right choice. Mr. Vijay Ramlogan for Fifth Company.
In service to the people, stable and strong. One leader, one party.
Mr. Gabriel Cummings for his Hindustan St. Mary's.
We take care of you. PNM understands. We love you so. We take care of you.
On August 14th, cast your vote for Miss Nicole Jeffrey in Venice, Princestown South.
Only the PNM has a plan. CT card for groceries, medicine for free.
Lingua Indian Walk will be voting for Mr. Otley Granthume.
ABC to PhD, hot meals in schools. Your child is free.
Moruga, we present to you the right candidate, Mr. Emmanuel Pear.
We love you so, we take good care of you. Only the PNM has a
And New Grand Tableland will be voting Kevin Shaw. In Reform Manahambre, Mr. Richard Radmir. And St. Julian Princestown North, Miss Antoinette Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, on August 14th, vote these candidates for the Princestown
leader one party you can depend on.
Arima and Point Fortin, are you here? Make some noise. Presenting for the boroughs of Arima and Point Fortin, let's welcome our party's General Secretary and MP for La Hokata Talparo, the Honorable Foster Cummings.
This one is for the nation, for the children, yeah.
Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. On August 14th, we present to you our winning candidates for the Royal Chartered Borough of Arima. For Arima Central, your candidate is Sheldon Garcia, better known as Fish.
Sleeping time. Sleeping time.
Bringing it home for the PNM in Arima Northeast, our candidate Kim Garcia.
I was in the laboratory when somebody showed me him. Somebody said that I'm not today. The boss could take care of them.
In Arima, West Omira, our candidate Dave Marat.
When we walk in big spin and ting, oh Lord, what a session. In the hand was a plan and he started to jam. He hit them bam bam bam.
Returning to serve the people of Calvary, Janice Scott.
We ain't making no total mistake. What the opposition get, they will take.
Another incumbent in Malabar North, our candidate Lynette Chaffee Ramcharan.
Get all your crew, we sweeping this country clean. We can't fail. Licks in the tail.
Our incumbent in Malabar South and candidate again Joycelyn Worrell.
Sleeping time. Sleeping time.
And for Puna, let us welcome our candidate Jovan Robert.
One nation is one people today, a dynamic diversity. A party strong because all along we celebrate our
The team, the winning team for Arima Borough Corporation, come forward and take a bow.
PNM, them are the best. All the youths, new dance, they go like this. All the youths rocking with the PNM. Everybody rolling with the PNM. All
the winning team,
PNM.
The PNM team.
The PNM. PNM.
PNM family.
Them are the best.
We now move on to the southern borough of Point Fortin. And for Captiville, Fanny Village, our candidate Marilyn Ramnarain.
Sleeping time. Sleeping time.
Returning to serve the people of Egypt Village, Kwesi Thomas.
I was in the laboratory when somebody showed me him. Somebody said that I'm not today.
For the beautiful village of Hollywood, our candidate Christopher Wright.
Going to the convention. When we walk in big spin and ting, oh Lord, what a session. In the hand was a plan.
In New Village, another incumbent, Leslie Pascal.
You got to like the man, he have a touch of Eric William, huh?
And for Newlands, Mahaika, let us welcome our candidate Steve Gashard.
When I say okay, you know what.
Returning once again in Tisha Kwapo, our candidate Wendell William.
We can't fail. Licks in the tail.
Ladies and gentlemen of the PNM, let us give a round of applause to the winning team for the Point Fortin Borough Corporation.
Sleeping time.
On August 14th, vote solidly for the People's National Movement.
Sleeping time. Oh, sleeping time.
Get ready for sweeping time in the borough of Superior and the Penal JB Regional Corporation. PNM family, PNM massive. Let's join our hands together for our party's election officer, Mr. Indar Parasram.
I
the PNM. Great is the PNM. Political leader. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor this evening to present 10 candidates for the Corporation of Pinal Debe. For the electoral district of Barkpur West, Shelby Sugrim Rampasad.
What the opposition get, they gon' take. Hallelujah. When I say cookie, you know what I mean.
For the electoral district of Bronte, Khalil Ali.
We can't fail. Licks in the tail. Great is the PNM.
Debe East, Esperance, Union Hall, Mr. Emmanuel Gopal.
Sleeping time. Sleeping time. Sleeping time.
For the electoral district of David South, Mr. Leon Small.
Today a dynamic diversity. A party strong because all along we celebrate our plurality. Equality right across the board.
For the electoral district of La Fortune, David North, Miss Judy Sogdeu. For the electoral district of La Romaine, Mr. Jeffrey Rangel. For the electoral district of Palmis Heritage, Miss Nyla Stevens.
People of TNT, we go follow Rowley. Kid
For the
Rowley,
electoral district of Final, Mr. Shannon
PNM
Wataran.
warriors, with your bodies in hand, we taking back we country, we taking back we land. Tell them we come in, we come in, we come in, we come in, we
The
come in.
electoral district of Quina Mondiablo, Ms. Trisha Yewood.
Ashton Ford, Colin Martin, Imbert and Donna Cox, Joe Newt, Penny and Hines.
For the electoral district of Rochard, Barkpur East, Ms. Susan Denise Joseph.
Come in, come in, PNM, PNM.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our 10 candidates for the Pinal Debe Regional Corporation.
We take good care of you. Only the PNM understands. We love you so we take good care of you. Only the PNM has a plan.
As we move on to the new borough of Siparia, these 9 candidates will create history on August the 14th. They'll be the first to bring home to the People's National Movement the borough of Siparia. Let's welcome, for Advocate San Francisco North, Mr. Richard Gooden. For Brighton Varsity, Mr. Jalan Lewis. For Sejas, Mr. Anthony Von Ganes. Returning for the 4th time, for Erin, Miss Arlene Rando.
Of TNT, we go follow Rowley. Kid Rowley, go lead with the victory. PNM warriors.
Mondesi, Mr. Kennedy Polio.
We taking back we country, we taking back we land. Tell them we come in, we come in, we come in, we come in, we come in.
For the electoral district of Otaheite Rosilac, Mr. Cortez Carabay.
Colin Martin, Imbert and Donna Cox, Joe Newt, Penny and Hines with the dreadlocks.
For the electoral district of Palo Seco, Mr. Anton George.
PNM, PNM. PNM.
For the electoral district of Siparia East, San Francisco South, Mr. Vijay Bochun.
Too much thief and corruption and too much bubble.
And for the electoral district of Siparia West Faizabad, Mr. Kamaluddin Ghani.
Flying in helicopter while they empty the treasury and we poor people suffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our 9 candidates for the borough of Siparia.
The anointed God, we come into bus truck. He gonna have one big regret. Clause 34, we will forget. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for our first group of PNM candidates. Now I want to see every rag up stand up if you want to, as we bring to the stage the man that told us in 2013, I must believe. Give it up for Peter C. Lewis.
Oh, no. PNM people, how you feeling? Hey, PNM, listen, hey, say I believe, say we believe, say I believe, PNM people, scream. We've come a long way together as a nation, standing side by side. Still a long way to go, we gonna get there, standing side by side. Why? I see the faces, the races, the spaces, the places where we all come from. I see the Indians, the Africans, the Chinese, the citizens, united all as one. We gonna get there. On August 14th, we win an election. Hey, we gonna, who voted PNM? Put your hands in the air now. I must believe. You must believe. We must believe. You must believe. I must believe. You must believe. We must believe. Whoa, I must believe. You must believe. We must believe. Yeah. Hey, say PNM. Say PNM. Say PNM. Who voted PNM? Hey! Twin Islands blessed with a future, standing side by side, united with love for each other, standing side by side. Listen! Creation, a nation, a whole generation, where we all come from. Hey! The Hindu, the Muslim, the Baptist, the Christian, united all as one. We gonna get there. August 14th, who voted PNM? I'm not seeing the hands, I'm not seeing the flags. Anybody from the PNM? I must believe. Hey, you must believe. Hey, we must believe. You must believe. Hey, I must believe. You must believe. We must believe. Yeah, I must believe. Where the real PNM people? Over here, the real PNM people say yeah. What about up in the back? Is the real PNM people in the back? Oh my goodness, listen. We've come a long way together as a nation, standing side by side. Still a long way to go, we gonna get there, standing side by side. Philosophy, our policy, integrity, transparency is what we must stand for. Our liberty, society, variety, prosperity is anybody from the PNM? I want your hands in the air. Put your hands in the air like so. Wave if you're from the PNM, no man. Hey, put your hands in the air. No, I must believe. You must believe. We must believe. You must believe. We must believe. Look at PNM flag. Wave it. I must believe. PNM people, let me hear you. Say yeah. Say whoa, yeah. My name is Peter C. Lewis. August 14th. Remember, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we will win. Thank you.
Another electrifying performance. PNM Posse. Let's give another resounding applause for the incredible talent that is Peter C. Lewis. gentlemen, to the presentation of the PNM's second group of red and ready candidates for the 2023 local government election. Here to present our candidates for the Couva Tabaki Talparo Regional Corporation and the Borough of Chaguanas. Let's welcome our party social media officer and chairman of the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation, Lohokata native, the man on the ground, Kwesi Robinson.
Great is the PNM and we shall prevail. Presenting the candidates for the Couva Tabaki Talparo Corporation, Virgin Castle Esperanza, Chris Alexander. Calcutta, number 3, McBean. Shazad Khan. Sleeping time. Taparo, Mamoral, Clement Francis Jr. Caratal, Tortuga, Collis, Williams.
I was in the Lacore when somebody showed me him. Somebody said that I'm up today, the boss could take care of them. And in this crowd was singing loud, going to the convention. When we walk in big spin and ting, oh Lord, what a session. In the hand was a
Tortuga, Collis, Williams.
Bam, bam. Somebody say you got a
Collis, Williams.
Eric William, huh?
They're not here.
We ain't making no notice.
Shazad Khan.
What the opposition get the hotel? When I say okay, you know what I mean. Get all your brooms sweeping this country clean.
Taparo, Mamoral, Clement Francis.
Great is the PNM, it shall prevail. Sleeping time.
Caratal, Tortuga, Collis, Williams.
One nation is one people today, a dynamic diversity. A party strong because all along.
Black Sunday point up here. Daniel Lane. Black Sunday point up here. Daniel Lane. Couva East Balmain, Sharda Satram. Couva West Roy, Estonia, Lenise, Packet. Freeport, Cheklan, Vishala, Ganga Bisoon.
With your bodies in hand, we taking back the country, we taking back the land.
Gasparello, Bonaventure, Jason Ramkisoon.
Everybody get on board with Franklin Paris and
Las Lomas, San Rafael, Linda Babulal.
Connie Martin in Donna Fox, Joe Duke, Benny Hines with the dreadlocks. Oh.
Londonville, Talparo, Daniel Webster. Perseverance, Waterloo, Esther Anderson. Piparo, San Pedro, Tabakit, Seminata Williams.
Too much thief and corruption and too much bubble. She feels she could run this country only on alcohol.
Seminata, Point Lisas, Ravindra Gosine.
While they empty the treasury and we poor people suffer, tell them we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming.
And finally, for St. Mary's Castlefield, Sheldon Reese.
He go have one big regret, clause 34, we will forget. No.
And those were your candidates for the Couva Tabaki Talparo Regional Corporation. Next, we move on to a corporation that victory will be. Please come back up. My apologies. Come on. My apologies.
Next, we move on to a corporation that victory will be secured, the Shogunas Borough Corporation. We have the first candidate that is going to bring home the seat of Charlieville, Mr. Sherwin Lucas. This next candidate was on the campaign trail with us all last year, an excellent East Indian cultural dancer, the amazing Mahindra Rampasad. Next, we have the educated, beautiful attorney at law and former alderman and the next councillor for Edinburgh, Londonville South, Miss Stacey Murphy.
Is he who end up without a seat? Not a damn seat for them. Mama, that's what Chamber say. Not a damn seat for them. Not a single seat on election day. Not a damn seat for them.
This next candidate is an incumbent. And like on the lobby, where is a receptionist, she's a woman on the ground floor. Put your hands together for the next councillor for Enterprise North Esmeralda, Miss Lisa Holder. And next man on the ground, we have Enterprise South, Londonville North, Mr. Andy Lewis, your next councillor.
Them ONR jump and whine, making a big show, as they had the crowd behind.
And we're going to turn Felicity Endeavour into PNM City, Ms. Devika Suku. For the electoral district of Montrose, Mr. Andel Pramsuk.
How you hug up Dr. Willie? Not a damn seat for them. People afraid you in this country.
And finally, Monroe Road, Caroni Savannah, Mr. Kevon Phillip. There we have the winning team for the Shogunas Borough Corporation. Thank you very much.
Sawa, Lavantil, and Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporations, are you with us this afternoon? Let's put our hands together, presenting for the Sawa, Lavantil Regional Corporation and Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation. Give it up for our party's Deputy Political Leader Policy and MP for St. Anne's East, Dr. the Honorable Nian Gatsby Dolly.
Anybody here from the region of San Juan, Lavantil? We have some candidates here that are the best in the country. Forgive me, because that is my region. For the district of Arangwes, Warner Village, give it up for Ashmead Mohammed.
Somebody say better not today. The boss could take care of them. And in this crowd was singing loud.
And Barataria, she's small, but she talawa. Give it up for Kimberly Small.
In the hand was a plan and he started to jam. He hit them bam, bam, bam. Somebody say you got to like the man.
A man on the ground, a man for the people. Welcome, Betham Picton, Darren Paradon.
What the opposition get, they will take. Hallelujah. When I say okay, you know what I mean.
A big, big, big man in the business. Our longest standest councillor in this region. Give it up for Quincy Antoine.
Great is the PNM. It shall remain. Sweeping time.
El Socorro, Rangwes North, we have not forgotten you. Our standard bearer is Karina Nanan. Give it up.
One nation is one people today, a dynamic diversity.
Sabo Malatres, Cradle of the PNM, Janice Cower Charles.
Equality right across the board, everybody have a chance. That's why all around every place in town.
Maracas Space, Santa Cruz, Lafayette. incumbent, the hard-working Junior Sinclair.
I wanna say, okay, you know what I mean. Hallelujah. Bring all your
Kittyboog, Mount Lambert, Champlain, welcome the new and energetic Kadim Graham.
Great is the PNM. It shall remain.
San Juan East, bringing back Raphael John.
Sweeping time.
And here she comes for San Juan West, my councillor, Jody Johnson.
We'll be sweeping everywhere. Election time is here.
St. John's, Cascade, Monrepo West, you asked for it and you got it. Show and Joel.
Election time is here. We'll be sweeping everywhere.
St. Bob's, Chinapoo, a new young lady to carry this PNM forward, Shaniqua Harris. Success Chumakak, you have been well served, and she's back to do it again. Adana Griffith Gordon. Let's welcome all of our candidates for the San Juan Laventille Regional Corporation, and you give them your support.
Sweeping time. Sweeping time.
Thank you, San Juan Laventille.
I was in the Lapore when somebody showed me him. Somebody said that I'm not today. The boss could take care of
PNM family, we are privileged to welcome those from the Tunapuna Corporation. Tunapuna, Tunapuna! Let's welcome for Ozanville, Tunapuna, John Boyd, Bernard Briggs. For Blancheshire, Santa Rosa, coming with the incumbent Sheldon Moore. Bonaire Aruka Cane Farm, bringing on your candidate, Maria Batiste.
Lofty and Keith, we go follow Rowley. Keith Rowley.
Karapo, you have a man in the business, Derek Laguerre. Cora Paradise Sacarigua, welcome your candidate, Reginald Gregg. Leva Dabadi, Shakila Clark is going to do you proud. Welcome her. Shakila Clark.
Lofty and Keith, we go follow Rowley.
Curep Page, Neela Maharaj is taking us forward.
With your bodies in hand, we taking back we country, we taking back we land.
And here comes someone who's experienced in the business for 5 rivers, Desiree De Freitas Foster.
I stand for Colin Marlin, Imbert, and Donna Cox.
Kelly Village, Warrenville, welcome the new Alicia Ali.
We coming, we coming, we coming, we coming. PNM, PNM.
La Florissant Lopino, you asked for it and you got it. Welcome back, Wayne Mora. Macoya Trin City. Josiah Austin.
She feels she could run this country only on alcohol.
Baraka Santa Margarita, a new person in the business. Welcome, Shudel Noriega.
We coming, we coming, we coming, we coming. Want them, go on the anointed God.
Mousica Maloney. The strong, the incumbent, Stefan Watney.
Big regret, clause 34, we will forget. No.
St. Augustine, South Piarco, St. Helena, bring on and support Latoya Graves Tento. Valsain, St. Joseph,
Miss Avia Isaac takes you forward. Welcome her. And then Waterfield Hawkins, bring on who has been with us and who will take us forward once again. Carrie-Ann Roberts Castanari.
Constitution, we energize the party. No stopping the
Let's welcome all of our candidates from the Tunapuna Piako region. Come forward, candidates.
Let's hear it for those candidates presenting for the Sawa Lavantil Regional Corporation and the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation. Let's hear it again for Dr. the Honorable Nian Gadsby Dolly. Give it up. Now we get ready for Sangre Grande and Mayaro Regional Corporation. Mayaro Rio Claro, stand up as we welcome one of your very own, our party's deputy political leader,
PNM
party and election
people.
matters, Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanon.
Always the best for last. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the candidates for the largest part of Trinidad, 1/3 landmass of Trinidad, which comprise the Mayaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation and the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. The area of Trinidad with the most beautiful, humblest, kind-hearted, and genuine PNM people. We start with the Mayaro Regional Corporation. Beach Charuma, Mr. Udar Khan. Kokie Mafikin, Imran Ali.
PNM warriors, with your bodies in hand, we taking back the country, we taking back
Ecclesville, Ruth Ali Mohammed.
we coming. Everybody get on board with Franklin Forrest and Ashton Ford.
Mayaro North, Riyadh Stewart. Mayaro South, Guayari, Patrick Phillips. Rio Claro North, Janice Armstrong.
Much beef and corruption.
And rounding off the winning team for the Mayaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation, Jaron Mohammed.
Flying in helicopter while they empty the treasury and we poor people suffer. Tell them we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming. Warn them, go on.
I told you so. Some of the most beautiful, genuine PNM people in Trinidad. Let's go now with the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. So right, ladies and gentlemen, Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, soon coming back to the People's National Movement. Starting off with Kumoto Tamana, Dave Rambarat. Manzelina Fish and Pond, Attila Mohan.
Somebody say better not today. The boss could take care of them. And in this crowd was singing loud, going to the convention.
Sangre Grande Northwest, Alicia Thomas.
Start to jam, you hit them bam bam bam. Somebody say you got to like the man, you have a touch for Eric William.
Sangre Grande Northeast, David Elvis Guy. Sangre Grande South, Darian Buchun. Valencia East Toko, and this one we will do for Terry Rondon. Alicia Williams Penny.
Sleeping time.
Marcia West. Kiva Isaac. And the person who will rescue Vega de Oropuch from all that bacchanal, Lakoya Lumpkin. I told you, Sani Grande Corporation, come forward. Soon back in the folds of the People's National Movement.
Let's hear it for the candidates. And let's hear it from a performer representing Grandy. Yeah. Give it up for Rishi Singh.
Somebody say yeah.
More from Grandy to come now.
Woo. Anybody from Mayaro? Do you have anybody from Sangre Grande? If you love the People's National Movement, put your right hand in the air. Volume. कोई मेरे जिंदगी में आए तो पार बन जाए It's real unity, sing, real unity, sing आप जैसा कोई मेरे जिंदगी में आए तो पार put your hands in the air, sing with me It's real unity, real, listen to me Anybody from Port of Spain put your hands in the air Anybody love Dr. Rowley Put your hands in the air. Anybody love the body? Say somebody scream. आप जैसा जिंदगी में आए तो पार बन जाए. It's real unity, sing real unity. आप जैसा कोई मेरे जिंदगी में आए तो पार बन जाए.
And welcome back to our viewing audience. We have just presented 141 winning candidates in the 14 municipalities across Trinidad and Tobago, Faris.
Yeah, 14 corporations, every seat, every election, every time, but this is the time.
But there's one difference. We introduced 2 new electoral districts this year. You want to tell Trinidad and Tobago about that?
Yeah, well, so we moved from 139 to 141 seats, folks. And what we had, of course, was the Elections and Boundaries Commission going to work in ensuring that the population size stays where it is. Now, this actually touches quite an interesting point about the call for election observers. Do you know that Trinidad and Tobago has never had, for local government elections, any observer capacity because it is a renowned fact that our Elections and Boundaries Commission is one of the best in the world.
Absolutely.
And our media is to be complimented as well for the transparency and coverage that we have.
Yes.
What we're selling on this occasion, folks, what we're asking you to pay attention to is how are our lives going to be better with reform that is here. We are no longer in discussion. We are no longer in hypothetical matters. We are talking about, are you for or against a better style of life? Are you for or against your mayors having full control? Are you for or against full-time councillors?
Absolutely.
So the choice is really now. And this is where we make the clarion call for people to step up and participate in democracy. Because I'll tell you this, choice cannot be had unless there's an exercise of the franchise. And the franchise is in this finger, it's the power to vote. So Laurel, I know you've run for elections, your feet are deep into politics, your heart is there. What do you think this means for us?
And I also served as an alderman. I also served as an alderman in the Arima Port Corporation. So I have a fair understanding of the operations of local government and the work of local government. And I must say that the reform is absolutely necessary. The system as it stands now is pretty sluggish, I would say, and there's a lot of bureaucracy in getting things done. And the councillors and the mayor do not have sufficient power to execute the will and the needs of the people. And so that's what this reform is bringing now. It's giving the councillors and the aldermen and the executive council the opportunity to really service the people of their municipalities. And with the 141 electoral districts, that means that each representative has a smaller number of persons to service, which makes it easier, which makes your representative much more accessible. And we're giving more power to your local representatives, and that's what this election is about. That's why we're asking you to vote for our 141.
And the more power is significant power. We're not talking about minor issues. We're talking about major issues. Planning and facility development. We're talking about maintenance of schools. We're talking about anti-crime and security issues through municipal police. Folks, I served as an alderman in local government. I've had the pleasure of drafting the local government reform law through millions of contact hours of consultation. And I can tell you this, now operationalizing this law, I am convinced, we, our party, are convinced that this is the closest that we're going to get to real reform in our country because of, exactly as Laurel said, bringing power closer to people. On the other side of the equation, you will hear political opponents say no to reform, no to more power, no to the use of residential property taxes at $3 a day to meet the gap in expenditure. And we say to the population, genuinely, look at the data and understand this is how we create better lives.
And it's important to ask, why is it that the opposition is rejecting so strongly these changes that will impact you, the people of Trinidad, so positively?
You know what hit me? It hit me what Marcus Gidari had to say from San Fernando. In Marcus Gidari, serving as a UNC councillor, elected in 2019.
And who we just presented
for San Fernando. But what struck me with what Marcus had to say was the reason why he decided that the PNM was the vehicle to take the message to people. And his position was quite simple, that it meant that reform was for all and that he was on about policy. And perhaps that's why we've seen so many people join the PNM.
Thread. That is the common message and sentiment that is coming out of all of the persons who have now come into the fold of the People's National Movement because they believe in the People's National Movement. The PNM is credible, and we're really serious about this reform.
And folks, I want to put it to you this way. The reform that we are proposing for the country that calls for this vote is a reform that applies equally beneficially to the opposition. We are seeing in some of the seats that we presented, folks, there are instances in the history of the results where the PNM has not held certain seats.
Yes.
We are saying give these councillors better power, better management, greater accountability. And I want to remind you, we're doing this in the context of having operationalized the public procurement law.
So we're going to pitch backstage side now. We're going to see Marcus Gidari and Kimberly Small take the candidates' oath on behalf of the 141 PNM candidates.
Let's hear it live from our candidates' mouths. Let's flip stage side. Catch you on the end.
See you soon.
Because we are the People's National Movement, and we are a force to be reckoned with in Trinidad and Tobago. PNM people, make some noise! At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to help us welcome Mr. Marcus Gidari, prospective PNM candidate for Marabella South Vista Bella, and Miss Kimberly Small, prospective PNM candidate for Barataria, to deliver for us this afternoon the candidates' oaths. Let's welcome them on with a lusty round of applause.
Sparrow, that's in gratitude.
Thank you, PNM family. I invite our fellow candidates to stand with us as we accept the candidates' oath.
We, the People's National Movement candidates,
hereby pledge to give dedicated service to all the people of our electoral districts, without any fear or discrimination. We further pledge to commit ourselves to contribute diligently to the improvement of the quality of life of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We do so humbly acknowledging the source of our wisdom and strength. God bless our nation. Thank you, candidates.
Ladies, let's hear it for our 141 standard bearers for the People's National Movement, who will walk away with victory on August 14th.
Skidari and Kimberly Small represents what Trinidad and Tobago is, what represents what the PNM
PNM
is.
stands for, absolutely. Any person interested in the development of Trinidad,
The doors wide open.
And we welcome
where every creed and race finds that place, where ideology is supreme in its making, and why we say to people, come home to the love and comfort of the People's National Movement. Give local government reform its place in our history, because without your vote on August 14th, it will not happen.
Let's talk about the reform for a little while. Let's talk about the consultation that has been happening over the years. You know, we've been hearing empty barrels making noise, saying that there's been no consultation, they want more consultation. Let's talk a little bit about the consultation that
I have
started.
the stats.
Yeah.
32,000 inputs done in the course of consultation. 1.1 million comments received in the course of consultation. We are 33 years away from the last local government reform we had, which was the Municipal Corporations Act of 1990. And we have been pursuing a better form of governance. We are convinced that the local government reform in the version that we can pass, because the opposition would not allow for deeper constitutional reform or for inclusion of local government reform in the Constitution.
Yes.
Section 141 of the Constitution has a place where the THA is referenced. It's not entrenched, meaning it can be amended, but it at least is reflected in our Constitution. We are saying that with the administrative changes that we are making, with full-time councillors, with more money, with greater accountability, go to member, not to minister. It takes too long. Go and have accountability, go and have resources delivered. And by the way, don't suffer local government by lack of financial resources. Take the resources from right where you live.
Correct.
Take the resources from residential property taxes.
So we've been talking this local government reform since early 2000s under Rennie Dumas, and then we went on to Hazel Manning. I remember sitting in the Senate during the 2007-2010 term, and Mrs. Manning had started the process as well. She continued the process, rather, of local government reform. So this is not something that the PNM is just parroting or touting. This is something that we've given a lot of thought to. We've gone to the people. Then we saw Minister Franklin Can, may he rest in peace, continue with the consultation. We continued with Senator, the Honorable Kazim Hussain, your predecessor, and they had all gone through the consultation.
Joint Select Committee,
yes.
interactive hours, minority report. The UNC's minority report was no to local government reform, more consultation required, no to property taxes, and that they did not support what they call minority views.
And I find that astonishing. I sat on that Joint Select Committee, and during the process, it was a very thorough committee. It was chaired by Senator, then Minister Clarence Rambarat.
Yeah.
And we had two opposition members who were former local government practitioners, and their contributions were really minimal and non-objective throughout the majority of the consultation. So it was very surprising to see that they've come forward with this minority report that they were so adamant about.
So that's a reflection of the past.
Yes.
The reflection of the now is, are you for or against a better reform package? Do you believe
a package prepared by your meaning you, the people, by what you wanted?
Yes.
What you've asked for?
Yes. In fact, in large part, as Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, I now have a very peculiar opportunity to operationalize a law which I drafted and which the Parliament put together. And I can tell you, looking at the operational structures, the digitizing that we're bringing, the fact that you can report your issues on apps, where you can see the progress that is happening. You know where your municipal police are on an app. You know what your response time looks like. You know how your money is being spent. These are aspects of the reform that are very relevant to very young people.
Correct.
And equally, they give us the transparency as to what our dollars are doing for us and in whose hands they're working.
And that's exactly how you make the local government relevant for you. And you're speaking about the young people. A number of young persons, this will be their first election and their first opportunity to vote. And a number of them will be looking on to see how exactly does this impact the young people. So let's talk a little bit about local government and young people.
Yep. So, do you want to know that you've reported something, your street light is not working, and you want to know what the status looks like? Do you want to make sure that expenditure is tracked by an audit committee that make sure you know what you're doing. I've spent a lot of time pursuing white-collar crime in this country as Attorney General in my previous portfolio. And I can tell you, with the laws that have been passed in that time, they also go to work in this. And let's face it, one of the main issues gripping our country right now is the conversation around crime and security. And when we look to the local government reform, with the mayors and elected members having a voice in relation to the municipal police, we are talking about delivering not just comfort patrols, but we're delivering municipal police action in tandem with TTPS via electors having a voice with their councillors, so that you're not waiting for that long-distance relationship with a minister of government or a centralized body. This is the devolution or distribution of power across the network. So we're talking better access to delivering remedies to crime. We're talking about tracking it. And I want to remind you that the UNC's voting record is to starve this country of anything that can tackle that.
For 8 consecutive years.
Yeah. So, folks, we could talk these issues and we're going to catch you in a little while, but we're due to go.
We're going back on stage now. We're going to hear from our candidate for Claxton Bay Point-a-Peer, Miss Dalil Lane, and she's a geophysicist, and we're looking forward to hearing her contribution. So let's go stage side.
Catch you on the flip side.
Good afternoon, Napa. Are we ready? I need to hear you all a little louder. Are we ready? My friends, we are red and ready. We are red and ready for local government reform. We are red and ready for local government reform, PNM style. Because reform is the only choice. Reform is the right choice, just as PNM is the only choice, just as PNM is the right choice. Allow me to acknowledge our political leader and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, National Executive, and the rest of the leadership team. My brothers and sisters, my fellow candidates, my PNM family, it is with great pleasure that I stand before you today on this PNM platform as the candidate for Claxton Bay Point-a-Peer. And I'm sure I speak for all of my colleagues, as together we say, thank you, PNM. Thank you for choosing us as the standard bearers in all 141 electoral districts in the upcoming local government elections. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to share something with you. As a young professional in this country, I spend a lot of time thinking about how I can make a difference in my community, and what I could do to alleviate some of the burning social, economic issues that are facing communities all over this country. And you know what I thought about? I thought long and hard, and I am convinced that although there are all kinds of issues that I care about, and there are all kinds of issues that I intend to work on, the single most important thing that I can do is be a part of the next generation of leadership of this great party and our beloved country. My fellow young people and I are the ones to take up the baton and follow in the footsteps of those who have blazed the trail for us. Our young people, we hold an enormous amount of potential for change and positive action. We are a unique resource that can develop innovative solutions, and we have extremely strong values of tolerance and especially social cohesion. But as young people, how did we get here? Let me tell you how. We got here as a result of consistent PNM education. And social policy from 1956 to the present time. It is the PNM that built the social fabric upon which this country stands today. It is the caring PNM government that continues to roll out a series of programs specifically targeted to the youth of our nation. So when you see young people like myself entering politics on a PNM platform, you could understand why. The young people, we're not stupid. We understand and we fully appreciate the rich legacy that the PNM has built in this country. That is the legacy that we have inherited, and that is what is going to take us into the future under the banner of the PNM. Ladies and gentlemen, this election is about local government reform. And that goes to the very core of how our people live in every single community, in every part of this country. So, on August 14th, you will vote for the PNM. On August 14th, you will vote for local government reform. On August 14th, you will vote for full-time councillors who will be on the job 24/7, who will place the interests of the people as the highest priority. And that is local government reform, PNM style. So after you vote for the PNM and you vote in the PNM on August 14th, the corporations will have secure funding so they could purchase materials, repair equipment, pay the contractors, and provide the level of service that you expect and that you deserve. So, ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues and I are honored to be your candidates. We are humbled to be the leaders in this local government transformation process on your behalf, because we know that you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be represented by councillors who are dedicated to effecting change. You deserve councillors who are sensitive to the issues of your community. You deserve councillors who will take your issues forward and make the necessary changes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you this evening that my colleagues and I are the councillors you deserve. All 141 of us have been carefully chosen by this great party under the stewardship of our esteemed political leader, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. So, fellow candidates, the party has done its duty. Now it is up to us to rally the Red Army from all corners of Trinidad. And members of this great party, our Red Army, you are our foot soldiers. You are the engine room, and you are the ones who will knock on the doors and bring out your friends and bring out your families and ensure that the PNM is victorious on August 14th. Honorable political leader, PNM family, let me conclude by thanking you once again for allowing us to lead this charge on behalf of the PNM. We can assure you that we will do our very best so that on election night, we will acclaim, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed.
The future of the People's National Movement is indeed bright, bringing home Claxton Bay Point-a-Pair for us. Please let's show our appreciation to Daniela Lane for her riveting delivery. Now, PNM family, I invite you to join your hands together as we usher to the microphone the man making tidal waves of progress in the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, the General Secretary of the People's National Movement, and Member of Parliament for the resilient constituency of Lahokata Talparo, the Honorable Foster Cummings.
Political leader and members of the PNM Army, I am pleased to give the credentials report of our attendance at this mammoth convention of the People's National Movement. All seats inside, full house of 1,200 on the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you the total numbers. Inside and outside of Napa today, delegates 840. General Council and party officers 148. Guests 340. Observers, ladies and gentlemen, 3,812. A total at this PNM Special Convention inside and outside of Napa of 5,140 PNM supporters. Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM! And we shall prevail. Vote solidly for the PNM on August the 14th.
The following is a paid political announcement.
PNM family.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear for our General Secretary, the Honorable Foster Cummings. Now, we all know that over the years, PNM has had many anthems in terms of songs. We are sitting today in the Lord Kitchener Auditorium in the National Academy of Performing Arts, another vision of the late, great Patrick Mervyn Augustus Manning. As we are in the Lord Kitchener Auditorium, Lord Kitchener gave us one of our earliest anthems, We Go Beat Them. He is not here with us today, but his son is here with us today. So please put your hands together for Colonel Roberts giving us We Go Beat Them.
This is Caribbean time.
They had out a slogan, they go win election. They say that the PNM, this will be the last of them. And what they going to do in future, well, when them take over, well, all that was just in vain. But it was PNM back again, we go beat them. This election, what? It is not as easy as they say. It could take a stronger opposition, but to beat the PNM party today. The
the day of the voting, you hear people talking, some hailing for UNC, some talking about PDC. But while you were there arguing of who they think should be leading, the nation was making sure they vote the ruling party once more. We go beat them. Let's sing it. It is not as easy as they say. It could take a stronger opposition to beat the PNM party today. What the doctor said, we here to stay. Just stay cool. We come to rule. Just play your mask. Forget the past. Jump up and play. PNM way. Put your hand in the air for the PNM. Hand in the air for the PNM. Hand in the air for the PNM. Boy. Attention to the opposition. I see they bring Lennox Spear, a man that we have to fear. They bring in George Weeks as speaker, as their leader. But we have to wait and see what the opposition will be. But we will beat them this election. It is not as easy as they say. What? It will take a stronger opposition to beat my PNM party today. Hey, the doctor said, we here to stay. Just stay cool. PNM rule. Forget the past and play your mask. Jump up and play. PNM way. I say put your hand in the air for the PNM. Hand in the air for the PNM. All of we voting this year for PNM. Nobody else. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. Love everybody. Love everybody. Dr. Rowley, the boss. Make some noise in the PNM. Say yeah, yeah.
The Lord Kitchener's legacy lives on. We go beat them. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a signal honor for me to introduce our next speaker. She is a firebrand. She is passionate, purposeful, and hails from the constituency of St. Augustine. Please, let's give a hearty round of applause for our beloved Minister in the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Senator, the Honorable Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal.
Look at people! How it gonna look if I don't say, the Red Army, my PNM family, let me hear you roar! The 141 warriors who will be taking us to victory, let me hear you roar! Ladies and gentlemen, I have the blessings, the absolute blessings, to introduce the MVP, and we know what the MVP means, right? The most valuable player of today's convention. Brothers and sisters, I pondered and I pondered, what can I really say that has not already been said about the next speaker? And then Trinidad and Tobago, my brothers and sisters of the PNM, I decided to simply speak from my heart. And I did it through this letter. And I will read for you all. Dear Paparu, open brackets, the Honorable, Distinguished Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. In 2020, when I offered myself to serve this nation, it was not because I wanted power. In 2020, when I offered myself to serve this nation, it was not even because I envisioned holding office. It was not even because of the PNM. Dear Paparo, it was because of your leadership. Your leadership made it so easy for me, a young East Indian Hindu woman, to truly believe that the PNM is a movement of all the people, for the people. A movement of every creed and every race. Your leadership, Paparo, gave me hope that one day Trinidad and Tobago will be a nation where we not only tolerate each other, but one in which we do love and appreciate each other despite our racial, ethnic, and social differences. Dear Paparo, as a mother of 2 young children, your leadership gave me hope that the future of our children was secured because you were prepared to make the hard decisions even at the risk of losing political popularity. Your candid, authentic motivates me. A candid and authentic self motivates me on a daily basis to be true to who I am. Dear Paparo, in the Bhagavad Gita, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, whenever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This is to say, your influence is extraordinary. When you set an honorable example, you inspire others to follow suit. Your leadership has inspired Janice Scott, Dinelle Lane, Teresa Lynch, Josiah Austin, Avinash Singh, Richie Sukai, Karina Nanan, and so many of our 141 candidates to step forward and serve this nation. So, Paparo, as one of your many political daughters, I say before Trinidad and Tobago, yes, the PNM have always been great, but today, the PNM is greater because of your leadership. Love and respect, Renuka. Ladies and gentlemen, my PNM family, is there a doctor in the house? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's so nice you have to do it twice. Is there a doctor in the house? The next speaker is like no other this country has ever seen. He is a visionary. He is fearless. He is an inspiration to many young people. Brothers and sisters, our political father who will lead us to victory on August 14th. I ask you to stand in every corner of Trinidad and Tobago as we welcome to the political hustings my political father, your political father, the Prime Minister of this country, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul.
We could do that. We could do that all day, all night, because we are the PNM. Party chairman, deputy political leaders, general secretary, other executive members of the People's National Movement, mayors, chairmen, councillors, and most importantly, 141 party members who are our standard bearers into the next election in the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to begin by confirming that of the 141 PNM standard bearers, every single one is a volunteer. We have offered no one an inducement. We have paid no one a fee. And most importantly, we have made no one a promise. This is the People's National Movement. You would have heard today about the process that we've used. You would have heard about the many who came, and you would have welcomed the selectees. Ladies and gentlemen, elections are important. Elections have consequences, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago know that more than any other. Why are we here today? This special convention of delegates, some supporters, and party officers reporting to the party. It is this arrangement, through a legal commitment and a constitution, that caused us to be here, functioning in our 68th year. How many of you in this room are 68 years old or approaching 68? And God forbid, may not get. This PNM, which those who are jealous of our existence and our success speak as though they could have been. We have defeated almost 70 political entities in this nation. And all we can say to all detractors, form them and bring them. Name them and bring them. The PNM will deal with them. We have been on this assignment of wanting to modernize local government. I served in a party, in a parliament, with a very distinguished local senior councillor, a fellow called Gerard Furness-Smith. He was one of the better parliamentarians I learned from. I learned how to do a number of things in the parliament from Gerard Furness-Smith. But Gerard Furness-Smith had a position, a point of view, that local government had no place in this country. It is too small, it is too confusing, it is too complicated, and all we need is a clear government, central government with ministers and ministries, and local government was really superfluous. That was his position, that was his idea. But other people have different views. There are many of us, including the PNM as an organization, we believe that if among our communities that house our 1.4 million people, if in those communities, as we say now, we have 14 of them in Trinidad, if we have local arrangements where it is largely management, because local government is really local management. Everywhere you live today in this compound, you've come from all over Trinidad. And all of you know that we in the PNM say that if we have local management through local government, you can improve the quality of life in your community. We all know that. And this is not something that has come to us in the PNM for an election campaign, as some of our detractors would say, most disrespectfully and most hypocritically, that the PNM is campaigning on local government because it's the issue they think they can win an election on. I'm doing this because I'm continuing a journey and keeping a commitment that this party has made to this country a long time ago. It took us a long time to get to a point like this, where the singular issue in a local government election is whether you support local government or whether you oppose local government reform. It's as simple as that. Distill right down to that. I know there are those who want to talk about an IMF program, Petro-Chin, crime, Tobago separation. All of these are topics we can talk about for the rest of our lives as long as they exist. I've seen the document put out by those who've been misbehaving for the last 3 years, but an election has come and they put out a print. And the print is that they now have a paper to put out. And on it, it says that, oh, the others have only been bad-talking people, talking about themselves. Have no plan, talking about themselves. Have no program, talking about themselves. Disturbing the country's unity, talking about themselves. They're putting that out now as an election campaign only for the season. By the 15th of August, they will figure that done. But we have not forgotten them. But since that is their campaign, that this local government reform, which the country is being asked to take a stand on, I want to confirm to the country that the PNM does not act in a Vicky-Vi manner. You heard here today on a number of occasions how many things we've done, what we've been committed to. But let me tell you about local government. When we set about in a PNM era, under our PNM administration, to do something about modernizing local government. I'm sure when I came up with this set of documents, you all thought I'd come here to talk about these. If I start to talk about these, the contents of these, you'll be here until tomorrow morning. But I brought them to convince those who talk and write that they exist. These are the documents that brought us here to be campaigning on support local government or vote against local government reform. Let me just quickly go through them for you. I brought these from my library. The National Development Strategy 2016 to 2030. Now, our political opponents will not understand this. You know why? They demonstrated it to the country. I was Minister of Planning and Development and given the assignment by Prime Minister Patrick Manning when he won the election in 1991 to bring together not just PNM people, but the talent of the nation, and to design and bring before the country for adoption of a Vision 2020 document. In fact, people who served in the other political parties were part of that team, and we produced a vision. It came in documentary form in paper like this, and it was on CDs. For anybody who wanted to read, anybody who wanted to research, anybody who wanted to talk, it was all there. And just as those things were available, and the country now started to follow that program, we lost the election in 2010. You know what the UNC did? They dumped all of it in the dung heap in the beatdown. Would you believe that? But we should have known then, because they didn't come into office to deal with that. They come into office to empty the treasury. I was in Balize House when a call came from down in the ministry, and one of the clerks in Balize House took the call, and the person said, all you come down for all your thing because you're throwing it away. The person came to me and told me what it was all about. I said, well, listen, we can't hold all of it here. Get a few copies, let's keep it for our library and for all times. We have a few copies still and a few of those CDs still, but the rest of it was dumped. The Vision 2020. You know who was on that committee? Winston Duker and Bo Tiwari and PNM people. It was a national effort, but that didn't mean anything to them. So when we came in 2015, September, by 2016, we started again to put things together in plan form, documentary form, and here it is. National Development Strategy 2016 to 2030, and you see in brackets there, Vision 2030. Many hearts, many voices, one vision, October 4th, 2016, because the government of Trinidad and Tobago, made up of serious people from a serious political party, was doing serious work about a serious problem, coming for a serious transformation. So when we talk about government, local government reform, this is the foundation we're talking about. If you had time to go through there, and you see it says here, on every page, draft. Draft. Because it was worked from a position of initiation to finality. And then, of course, Here it is, the end product. Vision 2030. There are people who want to talk in this country, want to write in this country, want to run this country. They wouldn't read a page because they believe that ignorance is strength. But of course, the PNM doesn't do that. We are responsible. We ensure that when we take a position, it's a position that because of the way it has been arrived at, it has a good chance of success. And then here it is. This came from the Parliament. Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, first session of the 12th Parliament, report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the miscellaneous provisions, Local Government Reform Bill 2020. So this was in the Parliament in a Joint Select Committee. Needless to say, those from other parties did not support it. But as history would show, because the PNM arrive at these positions in the way I've just described, in a sane and sober manner, and do what is right, even though there are some voices saying no, we got it passed in the Parliament with the PNM vote, because you, the people, gave the PNM enough votes to pass it with the PNM support. That's what you've done. And here it is. 330 pages arriving from this one. Report on local government reform consultations. It was not Balize House rum shop reform one night, you know. This was not Monday night forum, you know. This was the work of ministries and ministers over a period of time involving the Parliament, involving the country, involving consultations. And here it is again. This one is 85 pages, a synopsis of the consultations. So if you want to be a commentator on this, whoever you are, get yourself familiar with these documents. If you don't follow the Parliament proceedings, and all the writers, he say, she say, he say, she say, and call that what? There's one that wrote in the paper today. You could see the rum coming off the page. So I brought them to show you and to tell you and to tell all of them that local government reform in Trinidad and Tobago being campaigned upon by the PNM in front saying, yes, let's do this. As Isasha says on the song, let's do this. Local government reform time has come because we have worked. Patrick Manning, Hazel Manning, Frankie Khan, Kazim Hussein, these are all ministers who worked on this. And today, as we were moving slowly towards a transition to it, we were hustled into the election. By the way, tomorrow is nomination day. And there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And as one of my teachers used to say in relation to exams and students who were late, those who don't have teeth will gnash their gums. Because, you know, call the election, call the election, call the election now. Call the election, call the election, call the election now. That was the mantra. Because while the PNM was doing this work and preparing the country for this decision, they were only interested in election and office. And of course, the election is called. Tomorrow is nomination day. They have no candidates. So when that was upon them, they start to appeal to people who have no members. And tell them, let's form a coalition again. And let's see if we can fool the people again and just get elected. But what? Assuming that they can get elected on August 14th. On August 15th is, let me carry on the same way. And, but if you elect the PNM, this work, these roots, this tree will bear fruit, and we will do so with the confidence that we arrive at our positions going forward because of the rectitude of the cause, because of the good sense that went into it. We are not operating by guess. We are not operating vai. We have tilled the soil. We have looked after the field. Now the fruits are available, but it requires a climb. We got to climb over the hurdle on election day, and every single citizen have a responsibility. If you're too busy to vote, if you don't like local government election, you are leaving the decision into the hands of others. If you do not support the PNM, you are supporting the opposite to the PNM. And the opposite to the PNM is chaos. It's as simple as that. The country is still a free country. And nobody will stand in your way. We realize your freedom. They want me to bring in foreigners to look at the election. We said that we have not been in the habit of bringing anybody here to look at local government elections or THA elections, and we're not starting now. We welcome people here for the general election, and we will do that. But the point is, you are free to come out on August 14th. We are inviting all the citizens to come out and take a position on local government reform. What is local government reform? Local government reform is an assumption that you know what local government is right now. Local government right now is, you have councillors who are largely underpaid, councillors who are part-time doing full-time jobs. You have councillors with electoral authority but have no executive authority vis-a-vis the public service, because the relationship with the public service sees from a practical standpoint that it is the CEO who really carries out the operations. You also have councillors who are in corporations that do not have a revenue stream, and they wait for sporadic handouts from the central government. Well, of course, the central government gets its revenue sporadically as well. And monies go to local government from central government depending on what is in the treasury at the time. We don't have a surplus budget going on continuously. In fact, for the last many years, most times, we are running a deficit budget. So the Minister of Finance, whoever he or she is, sending money to local government is a low priority in some months or in some weeks. Sometimes they need the money today, but the Minister of Finance is sending it next week. So if you have your own revenue stream, you can manage yourself better. You can take a situation where, because I have a constant revenue stream coming, which I am in control of, I can do small things, like I can keep our roads clean. I can keep our secondary roads maintained. I can do services that the government is now doing at central government. I can offer to do that, and the central government will fund it in local government. Let's take an example. Every corporation in this country has a primary school or 10. Those schools have to be maintained. What is the role of local government in maintaining a toilet in a primary school in your district? Why was somebody from Moruga have to wait for somebody in Port of Spain to give a clearance to fix a non-functioning toilet in Moruga? Why couldn't that be a responsibility of the local authority? And the more local government demonstrate that they can deal with responsibilities, then you can do the secondary schools as well. You're currently doing the small playing fields, but we do have some significant investment in sporting infrastructure in many of the corporations. Why shouldn't they be in charge of it? If they are in fact prepared to be full-time officers handling full-time responsibility. Why? Because somebody is saying, whatever is going on now, as bad as it is, leave it so. Local government, every local government body is responsible for picking up garbage. But the management structure in ensuring that that is something that goes on in an authorized and well-monitored way is not there. Because it's somebody else's responsibility somewhere to deal with a contract awarded somewhere, and we have to tolerate the contractor. That's what's going on. So what we are asking you to do in local government is take responsibility for your local district. And that involves electing serious people, honest people, qualified people from a political party, whatever that party is, for whom political responsibility is a serious business. That's what we're asking you to do. Will you not do that for yourselves? You go to the local government office and you tell them you have a mosquito infestation, a rat infestation, a snail infestation. They can't answer you, can't tell you nothing. Because the first thing they will tell you, we don't have this and we don't have that. We don't have this and we don't have that. What they don't have is a will, a resource base, and a responsibility sheet. This local government reform is saying we're going to make the giant step and make that change and change the quality of life in all our districts across Trinidad. Join us in doing that. And while there were many people for whom local government election is a nuisance, I want to invite you all today, if you are a responsible citizen, to treat this local government election as a different one because something big is on the table. You don't vote for it. You don't vote for it because you don't support it, that's fine. But if you don't vote for it because you don't care, then you're saying that all this work that you paid for was a waste of time and you prefer to have what exists now. How many of you in this audience are either councillors, chairmen, or worse, ministers of government, who you get calls in the middle of the night or early in the morning when you go anywhere and people come to you with local government issues telling you about a local government that is not functioning? How many of you? We point out to you that it was so in Tobago up to 1979. Tobago got a THA in 1980 as a result of the parliament intervening after strong political representation, and since then Tobago, through the Tobago House of Assembly, has had the role of being responsible for a piece of this country with a revenue stream and with all kinds of rights and responsibilities. Why don't you want that for Trinidad? It's 40 years now we've been saying though, and when that was passed in the parliament, Dr. Williams himself said to the country, as the PNM signed off on that bill that created the THA in 1980, he said, we are going to do this in Tobago, and we see how it works, and then, if we are satisfied as we expect to be, we will bring the model to Trinidad. That was 1980. It is now 2023. 43 years ago. And you have people come telling you what local government reform they're talking about. Trying to dismiss, because you have done nothing. Because you have used your nights for debauchery, to party, and have done nothing. Those of us who work during the night, when the dawn has come, and we are about to step out confidently into the future, you try to disparage it. I'm saying to those persons who don't normally come out for local government election, come out and take a stand on local government reform. Come out on August 14th, go to the normal polling station where you normally vote, and in every one of those polling stations is a well-selected, qualified PNM candidate, and put your X by the Balizi. If you have never voted for the PNM before, for all kinds of good reasons according to yourself, on this occasion, let's find common ground, hold our hands together, and change local government in Trinidad. Let's do that. You see, I have no fear about leading the cabinet that I lead into taking this decision, because I know it was arrived at after a sound approach. The consultations put meat on the bones, put an understanding to the issue. But let me take you down memory lane to comfort anybody in this country. Not only here at Napa. I want to comfort anybody in this country who believes that the PNM only makes major decisions when it is popular. Sometimes we make decisions when there's a minority loudly opposing it for all kinds of reasons. Where do we start with that? Let me take you down memory lane of that. Let me start with Dr. Williams, our leader. Party leader and country leader, being in the forefront of advancing federation in this region and speaking about a Caribbean nation. PNM was in the forefront of that. There were people in this Trinidad and Tobago, especially here in Trinidad, who wanted no part of that. And was very happy when it failed. But I keep reminding people in this country and in this region, what a nation we would have been in today's world if the Caribbean Federation from the north of the Bahamas way down to the south of Guyana on the Brazilian border was our nation, one nation, involving all that is now CARICOM. What about that? Didn't have division. Some didn't have division, but the PNM had it, but we couldn't bring it about. We couldn't bring it about, so we ended up independence. And there were people in this country who were opposed to independence. And if you don't believe me, go and read The Guardian before independence, go and read it from the archives, and read what went on in Marlborough House in London when the talks almost failed. It came that close to us not getting independence, because there were people in this country who were opposed to independence for all kinds of reasons. Many of it was fear, and most of it was an absence of a vision for a future. If you don't believe in a future, you will never go on the ocean. If you don't believe in a future, you may never go to college. If you don't believe in a future, you may never get married. You have to believe that tomorrow will be different and better to take a decision like marriage. And then, of course, when the federation failed, we had to find something else, because that federation would have been a nation, border to border, all of us is one inside of it. We ended up with CARICOM. And I could tell you, next week, this nation, the one in which the Chaguaramas Declaration Treaty was signed, there will be a recreation of that moment 50 years later. Because 50 years ago, on July 4th, we decided to do the next best thing, having lost the Caribbean nation, to have CARICOM. And CARICOM has been there, and it's been a struggle. It has been a vision for some. It has been an annoyance to others, but it has been a benefit to all the people of the 13 days. All of it. But Eric Williams, Burnham, Errol Barrow, Bradshaw, they all had a vision that we can do better and we can be better and we're stronger together. Next week, a number of world leaders are coming here to celebrate with us the success, the golden anniversary of CARICOM. I invite the nation to celebrate with CARICOM, because CARICOM is important. It's important. Don't let these things pass without knowing what they mean. Without CARICOM giving us the market that we have now and control for manufactured goods, many of you in this audience and across this nation wouldn't have a job, because our manufactured products couldn't compete against others from the outside. CARICOM protects your job, it protects your family, it protects your future. That's what it is. And if you don't believe me, go to Barbados, go to Jamaica, go to Dominica, and look at the shelves in their market and see made in Trinidad and Tobago. And ask yourself, if those produce couldn't get into those markets at competitive prices, what would the production in Trinidad and Tobago be? And I want you all to think, because there are people in this country who believe that you don't think and that you're stupid, and they could tell you any nonsense and tell you, call the election, call the election, call the election. It's not about the election. It's what you do with the authority that the people give you on election day. That's what it is. I am the first person in my family who went to high school. I have 5 brothers, all brighter than me. Not one of them set their foot in high school. I'm the last one. Dr. Williams and the PNM came just in time to provide free secondary education. And there were those who said he was crazy. That did not find widespread acclaim. There were those who said he was crazy. How you could pay for that? Huh? But before that, Dr. Williams said if there was no money, we got to find a way to get some money and use the money to develop ourselves. PAYE, pay as you earn. You earn a little bit, you pay $1. You earn a bit more, you pay $10. You earn a lot, you pay $100. PAYE. That gave this country a little pool of money. And Dr. Williams had a vision that that will grow as the country grows. And today, Hardly anybody in this country makes an argument that PAYE is a bad system. But at the time when the PNM brought it forward, it was opposed by people in this country because they have a habit of not supporting something good for the future. They always want to preserve the present. So whatever is going on in the present now, those who benefit from it will say, leave it so. You go up and ask Simpson and Belgrove, they might very well tell you COVID should have gone a bit longer. Because whatever is happening, somebody prospering by it and it served that purpose. But you have to see beyond that. Even the UNC and the parliament could not see that there was a need for us to fight a pandemic and to come out of it alive. They took us to court 60-odd times, and they took the doctors to court. They lied about it, and when vaccine became available to protect you, they said, don't take the vaccine. You understand? So when you are doing good things for this country, don't expect everybody to agree. You have to be like the PNM. You have to know that there's a sound basis for the decision, and when you take it, it will work to the benefit of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We had 2 refineries in this country. Shell had one in Point Fortin, and Texaco had one in Pointe-a-Pierre. Shell closed theirs, closed the door, jump on their boat, and they leave. Nobody cussing the PNM over that. Shell refinery, Shell gone. When Texaco was about to go, so serious was that, because that was the bigger one. And it was, we're now independent, and you have that responsibility. What do you do with the economy? The fact that Texaco boardroom took a decision to close down refining in Trinidad at that time couldn't be our decision here in Trinidad and Tobago. So what happens? The PNM bought it. We didn't have money to pay for it, but we needed it. We paid a part in cash and a part in product. When we announced in this country that we're going to pay $75 million for a refinery, the argument here was PNM again, going and buy some old refinery for $75 million, and they were not supporters of it. But the PNM did it, and as fate would have it, it had worked well for us, even up to this day. We got what the unions were calling the commanding height of the economy, because when oil price moved from $3 to $5 to $120, it was ours. And it educated many of us. It provided opportunities for many of us. And those who were opposed to it, come and tell the PNM today, don't restructure it. Leave it so. But the PNM does not leave things so. We fix problems where they exist. So we bought it without their support. We operated it for their benefit. And when it was time to prevent it from bankrupting the country, thank God there was a PNM in office again, and the PNM fixed it. And today, we are safe and sound with Heritage making a profit. And of course, Pioneer providing us with fuel. And if it is that there's improvement to come, we did not end up being bankrupted by the company that owed billions of dollars it couldn't pay. Intervene. Of course, in the sugar industry, because it was oil and sugar, in the sugar industry, all the companies, Tate and Lyle and all them were going because growing sugar for profit had become unprofitable and unattractive to the owners. They were closing it down. What happened? What did the PNM do? Not the country, the PNM. The PNM intervened and bought up all the sugar companies in 1975 and created Caroni 1975 Limited. It spawned political opposition, but it kept them employed for another 25 years. From 1975 to 2000, 25 years. We got an extension of the sugar industry, but by the time we got to 2000, the markets had disappeared in Europe and in the United States. The subsidies had disappeared, and the industry had to close. Of course, politicians on platforms saying, the PNM wicked, the PNM wicked. But they will never tell you it was the PNM that bought the private estates and created Caroni and gave us 25 more years of sugar. Some of them even go as far as to accuse the PNM of racism when they talk. They didn't say a word about race when PNM bought it so they can have 25 more years. But when the economics killed it, they invoke race. That's how Trinidad and Tobago is. That's how it is. I could tell you, in the financial area, I was in the cabinet when Workers' Bank and NCB, National Commercial Bank, failed. It took a PNM government, which had supported the Workers' Bank, to intervene. What do we do when the Workers' Bank fails? Those on the other side opposed to the PNM, not agreeing to anything, when we created FCB, $330 million we spent to bring NCB and Workers' Bank and the Cooperative Bank together to create FCB. You know what their position was then? That we are throwing good money after bad. But the PNM, under Wendell Motley and Patrick Manning and yours truly and Ken Valley and all of us, we decided we are going to go at it again to ensure, because we believe in this country and we believe in the people of this country. And today, the FCB is one of the best banks in this country and the region. And you think they end there? They're still doing what they do best. FCB goes to Jamaica and buys a business to expand this business. They come in the parliament and lying on the company and trying to undermine the company's business. One goes to Ghana and is doing well out there in the private sector. I hear them saying nothing. But FCB goes to Jamaica and Wade Mark and in parliament lying about what went on. It's commercial business. And as for the unit trust, when that was to be formed, you think they lined up and say, yes, sir, do that? No, they were opposed to that too. The same way they're opposed to local government reform now, because they're always opposed to anything good for this country. They don't have the vision. All they're concerned about is election day and winning election and going and abuse the authority that they have. That's what they're about. They could not support unit trust because some felt it would threaten their hegemony, it will threaten their comfort. Today, unit trust has over 700,000 accounts. It's the most widespread of people ownership in the country. And you know who fought and brought that to being in this country? The People's National Movement. One of my colleagues here was an engineer around when this project was being done. The Mucurapo foreshore. I don't know how many of you remember what that was like down there. It was an ocean, it was a seafront swamp. All traffic used to go through St. James. And it was like going through hell every evening and every morning to pass through St. James. There was no other way around. If we build a road out to the sea, on the seafront, and link it to Wrightson Road, and bring it out down in Cocoa Reach, that will do. Take it for granted now. They opposed it. It had cost $30 million. And as far as they're concerned, that was a waste of time. I distinctly recall seeing an article in the papers, it is the most expensive mile of road in the world. But if you're building through swamp, you're building through mangrove, you have to do this drainage, you have to do all kind of fancy work to get the water from above to pass through the road to go into the sea. It must cost some money. Had we not built it then, today it will cost $3 billion, according to them. But at the time when it was built, it was the PNM that had to get it done. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been done. Today it's taken for granted. Taken for granted. And of course, in Tobago, the Claude Noel Highway, the singular road in Tobago of any consequence, built to international standard. I was there when political opponents were inviting their supporters to lie down in front of the bulldozer to stop the bulldozer from working, to stop the building of the Claude Noel Highway. Look, I want to ask yourself, why? Why? But it doesn't end. It goes on all the time. They live by opposing the PNM. We brought to Tobago the option and the opportunity to have a Sandals project in Tobago. Our political opponents killed it. But today they're trying to invite people to build hotel in Kilguen Swamp. You understand what I mean? Had they not done that, there would have been a Sandals project today operating in Tobago. And you know how Sandals advertise their many properties around the region? They advertise as Sandals. The planes, the booking, the demand, the quality sandals. So wherever there's a sandals, people who like sandals, all-inclusive beaches and sandals, they go there. And Tobago would have had its share. One of them told Sandals' family, don't do it now, come back when I'm chief secretary. Well, he reached as far as deputy chief secretary. The next thing we see him, he had no foot to walk on. You see, I tell you this, so I want you to know how to take the opposition to local government reform. They oppose everything because they believe if it comes to pass, the PNM will get the credit, and their singular objective is to defeat the PNM. When they call for a party to come and meet and join them, the only thing the party has to do to join their coalition is to be a hater of the PNM. And they all hail friends well met. What is your policy? What is your program? What is your vision? That's not important. Just hate the PNM and come. But you, the people, are smarter than that. Because on every occasion that these policies and programs were put up and defended by the PNM, you are the PNM. You are the ones who defended it. You are the ones who say yes. You are the ones who are not benefiting. You are benefiting. You know, we got to buy 2 ferries to link Tobago and Trinidad across that 80 miles of water. You think after 2 years of what we were going through, hell, economic disaster in Tobago, political opportunity for them, you think they would have said a kind word or a good word about the ferries? No. They contact Australia, write the opposition in Australia to tell them to stop Malcolm Turnbull and Keith Rowley because we're involved in corruption and they mustn't get the ferry. They ignored them. They wrote the Attorney General in Australia to do that. Who are these people? Where they come out? Why they so? You would think that they're seeing development and benefits for the country. All they're seeing is opportunity for their political selves. And I'm saying to the population, you have to be more discerning than that. And to see that you have no interest in that. Your interest has to be, does this work for the country? If it doesn't work for the country, then we are quite open to you saying, I don't agree. And don't agree is a good position to be because the PNM is not perfect. We can make mistakes. Examine what we are going to do. And if you have an argument against it, make the argument. But don't come and tell me, I hate the PNM and that is a good reason not to support a program. If the country follows you, what do we get? I see them putting out documents saying that their record, they hear us using the word record and saying their record. Vote for their candidates of strange behavior and their record. The record of the UNC is nothing to be proud of. Nothing to be proud of. They are the party of Section 34. That alone should disqualify them, where you use the parliament to encourage criminals and to give them a pass. You sit here, you saw the government winning in a foreign court almost $1 billion from people who took our money improperly. Has anybody in this room or in this country heard the UNC say a word against that kind of behavior, against the behavior of those people? No. Keep looking for opportunity to give them opportunity to escape the court. That's what they're about. And talking about their record. What record you have? I can stay here today and point out all the big things PNM did in this country. You know, as I'm talking to you now, it's not everything the government is doing we talk about every day. We try to focus. But one of the things we're doing right now is receiving and treating with an arbitration where the Chinese company that was going to build the aluminum smelter, which was stopped midstream, is now pressing its claim legally for $300 million US. They talk, and for us, $300 million US is plenty money. When I went to China, I deliberately did not treat with this matter. And the Chinese authorities were gracious enough not to raise it during my visit. But now that the years have passed and we have not settled that claim, it is now a legal matter. And the lawyers, which don't come cheap, the lawyers are talking. We have serious exposure. It may not be 300 million, but it is certainly, at the end of the day, something substantial. It takes your government to deal with that. Not those who had the Drummit Summit to stop the project, even though the big power station was already built. We had surplus power built there and waiting. They stopped the project. Gone to court. The court didn't stop it, eh? The court said the EMA must redo something with the CEC. And then the government changed. It is the government that stopped it. And you know who was in the government, who was leading that charge? Kamala Prasad Bissessa, Anil Roberts, and a handful of people who don't mean this country well. That is why today we don't have an aluminium business. And when I keep talking about diversification, that was a major direction of diversification for this country. Moving away from oil and gas into aluminium and byproducts, even produced like pots and pans and motor car wheel and things. That's where we're going. They stopped that. Ask them what they did in the 5 years in government to replace it. They didn't even deal with the contractor and the fee. It now falls to my government to deal with that. The current Attorney General, he is dealing with that. A claim for hundreds of millions of US dollars because the contractor had done some work, had bought equipment, has liabilities which they could defend in the court. What is our position? The next time you see Kamala Prasad Bissessa and Wade Mark and the UNC, ask them what we should tell the contractor who they stopped down in La Brea, who is now demanding that they collect the money. And the same people are still around. It would have been bad enough if different people under the name UNC had come and we say, okay, this is a reincarnation. It's the same people. Today you look on this stage, I could tell you I sat down there this evening and I could not be more proud. I looked at the next generation of the PNM. You would have seen young people like you have not seen before. What you have not seen is their qualification. I sat with them for days and nights and examined them one by one. That is the best of Trinidad and Tobago available on a PNM platform on election day in a local government election. The others can't tell you that, can't show you that. I could tell you though, as the Americans are there trying to give us lessons on human trafficking and what to do and what not to do, that's for another day. Nobody in the PNM would have been on our screening committee if you were under suspicion of human trafficking. Nobody. So you could imagine, you go for screening in that party and that individual asking you questions and you're saying to yourself, what authorizes you to ask me anything about anything when I know you for what you are? That's what it is. You have to ask yourself sometimes, what will Trinidad and Tobago be without the People's National Movement? And when you spend all your life in opposition, defending criminals, creating opportunity for shysters and carpetbaggers, lying about things, you end up now in a local election and have to put out a document of lies. You know the opposition has a document that they prepared and circulating that is opposing an inheritance tax. And I simply want to ask today Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bissessa, who is the first person here talking about that, where in God's name did you get that from? A document? A statement? An intention? Where did the UNC get it from that we are pursuing a line to introduce in this country an inheritance tax. And in case they want to say it's not there, it's on page 5 of the document. It's on page 5 of all the document. Putting that there to mislead the population that we are tax crazy and we are going to introduce an inheritance tax. So if you inherit your grandfather's property or your mother's house, you have to pay 25% of the value in taxes. So it's trying to incite you against the PNM. It is a lie. And the same thing, they're talking property tax. If property tax is reintroduced into this country as it should, and it would be, it is because they, in 2015, through the law in the parliament, through the mouth of Larry Hawaii, the Minister of Finance, they ended the amnesty and the law came back into force. We are not introducing property tax. It has already been introduced. It is the law. So when we take an oath of office in the parliament after we won the election and say we are on the Bible or the Gita saying that we're going to uphold the Constitution and the law, that oath says that we are going to carry out the law as it exists in property tax. That's what it is. But these lying people trying to give you the impression that we are tax crazy and we are introducing new tax and creating tax like inheritance tax to thief your head. What they did, why the tax has not been collected so far, is that they went to court fighting the very same law that they said comes into force. And the court made a ruling that we should do a new tax rule. And that is what Mr. Imbert and his team at the Ministry of Finance has been fighting with for the last few years, because it takes years to create a new rule. And you can't collect the tax unless half of the rule has been dealt with and valuations for half of the properties in the country. So they throw a spanner in the works, and then they're asking you, why the bicycle not going nowhere? After all these spokes bust out. But it's the lies I can't take, it's the lies, it's the lies, it's the lies. Public policy cannot be based on lies. You can disagree if you wish. You can advance opposition to it. You can advance alternative positions, but to lie and it tells us more about yourself than it tells about the policy. Ladies and gentlemen, where are we now? We are the day before nomination day. That is the day when 141 PNM and many others will go to the Election and Boundaries Commission and commit themselves legally as offering to represent you in the 141 districts. I have every confidence that most of those who came on here this afternoon as your candidate will be successful by getting the majority. But I also know that this politics and this saving of Trinidad and Tobago cannot only be done by those who win a seat. Every single person who came up and volunteered to be a candidate, from Ecclesville to Sandy Grande, from Diego Martin all the way to Cedros, every volunteer who came on this stage this evening is a winner because they decided to participate in the electoral process. And where the majority in their neighborhood is not of PNM support, if there is one voter in that district that wants to cast a vote for the PNM in support of the PNM policies, that is victory for that individual. That's how we see it. And that is what makes the PNM strong. That is what makes the PNM whole. I don't know if you saw what I saw this evening. I have been saying for a few years now, starting with the THA election 2 elections ago, saying to the population, we have invested enough in our young people, and we'll continue to invest more, as a matter of fact. But young people, come forward and take responsibility for this country. What you saw on the stage this evening is an answer to the People's National Movement from the young people of Trinidad coming forward to take care of local government. And I have heard the preacher say, mine eyes have seen the glory of the Lord. I have seen on this stage this evening parliamentarians, and only time will identify them. It might very well be that somewhere on this stage this evening is a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Time will bear that out. And I say that in the full confidence that the history of the PNM is of that nature. Because I too was an unknown name until the party brought me forward. Today we brought forward 141 volunteers. I want you to stand and give them a round of applause. Tell them you know them. Tell them they represent you. Tell them wherever they are, as long as they're wearing that red, as long as the symbol is the balisé, as long as they say PNM, as long as they have come forward as they have done, the future of this country is secure. And it's secured not only on their deeds, but on our organization, with our constitution, and therefore we can say proudly and confidently, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
Family, tell me, are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, make some more noise than that for Honorable Political Leader, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. PNM people, make some noise!
Rolling with the red army. For the love of your country, place your vote with the PNM family. Go get ready. Forward in with Kid Rowley. For the love of your country, make sure you vote with the PNM family.
We now call forward all 141 candidates that will represent.
Well, there you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard from Dr. Keith Rowley, political leader and Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and it was an awesome presentation.
Powerful, fantastic, fact-filled, fun and engaging, but he spoke exactly to what we were speaking about here earlier, Faris.
Yes, hope. Where do we fit? Where does reform matter? Why does it matter? Why should we turn up and vote for reform? Ladies and gentlemen, today is about the context of 141 candidates in the electoral districts for 14 regional corporations. It's about how our lives can be better with a reform package that is here and is ready for delivery. No more talk, no more gallery. It's about crime and security being managed. It's about better allocation of resources. It's about putting property tax to use right where you live. It's about reaching out to a member who is close to you with a small pool, as you were telling us, Laurel.
Yes.
It's about better quality lives.
So today actually is the beginning of a new opportunity. Today is the start of a new chapter for all of Trinidad and Tobago. We are pretty much at the culmination of years and years of consultation with you, the people, so that we can bring this reform, and we're about to make this reform real. And the Prime Minister says, let's do this. And it's really important for us to let's do this together for our children and for our future. So this is your opportunity to forge a really good future for our Trinidad and Tobago, Faris. That's what this reform is all about.
In many senses, simple talk. Time for action.
Time for action.
Talk done.
Yeah.
Reform, yes or no? In terms of saying no to people that block progress, we ask you to reject other candidates. Our policy is a policy that applies for everyone. That is why you saw so many powerful people join the PNM.
Absolutely.
Join on the ideology of giving power to the people. We've talked about it for decades. We ask you to make it a reality come August 14th, 2023. Turn up in your numbers and vote.
And the PNM is offering you very solid, credible candidates. You heard from our geologist, Daniil Lane, earlier on.
Correct.
We have some attorneys at law.
Yes.
Former Alderman Stacey Murphy is on board. We have Councillor Dana Gervais O'Neill in Superior Borough. And we have a number of professionals who have availed themselves to be of service to you, the people of Trinidad. They are choosing you. They are choosing to give you an excellent future.
And remember where this matters. When local government reform gets turned on into its full faction, as this result is expected to cause a win, it means that we will take the move to full-time councillors.
Yes.
A full-time executive council means, just like a member of the cabinet is or the THA secretaries are, you have their dedicated attention, no conflicts of interest. They are there to serve.
And with a longer term.
Longer term, 4 years.
Yes.
More money.
Yes.
More money, more resource, more transparency, working alongside a public procurement law that has been operationalized. It's a very difficult law, but it means that we can deal with that. 771 municipal police are out and about.
Yes.
Taking that number by 551 in the weeks ahead, we're asking you to give more power to the municipal corporations to protect you right where you live, at home.
The municipal police have a much more intimate relationship with the burgesses of the different regional corporations, and so to further empower them gives you a better opportunity at security, a better opportunity as building community security groups and safety networks.
And what it is, it's the opposite of what our colleagues against us are saying. Colleagues against us are saying, let's hire comfort police.
No.
We are saying, let us utilize our police, our municipal police, with tax-paying dollars the way we do. So we're asking for a very different purpose.
Okay. And so thanks for that, Faris. We're going to throw you backstage side now, Trinidad and Tobago, for some entertainment. So thanks you all. See you all soon.
Jump. But when I come back on Carnival Day, and I hear the big truck stop, all you see, tell them when me and my section touch, there is trouble. I said the stage not good again. The stage not good again. I said the stage not good again. After we trouble for that stage, get on the stage. Everybody, take a jump, Papa. Right, so we come to mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. We go mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. I say mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. All 144 people. I want to see you put your 200 in here. So, so you're rocking the stage. Jump on to your rock in the face. Jump on become us on the stage. Jump on to your rock in the face. Some the people are saying, how could this stage? How could this stage? How could this stage be good when we behaving so bad? On the road that made that bad. From in every direction. Bad. All the girls in my section. Bad. The stage gone bad. Look at how you're behaving. Look at what you're behaving. Who the call? Who the call? There we go. Call the contractor. Call the mash-up doctor. Call the inspector. Call the commissioner. Call the minister. And call the fire brigade. Because the stage not good again. The stage not good again. I said the stage not good again. After this until protested. You know the stage not good again. Take a jump again. Take a jump. So we come to mash it up, shell it down. I say mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. We say mash it up, shell it down. I want everybody to put your 2 in the air. So 2 1. So you're rocking the stage. Jump on to your rock in the face. Jump on become us in the stage. Jump on to your rock in the face. All the people have said, how could this stage? How could this stage? How could this stage be good when we behaving so bad? Bad for the road. I have a question. I want everybody to answer the question for me, please. All the Iowa George fans, put your 2 in the air. All Dr. Rowley fans, put your 2 in the air. All PNM supporters, put your 2 in the air. Cause we got the mash it up, shell it down. I say mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. We say mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. We got the mash it up, shell it down and turn it over. So you're right in the face, long. But the people up there, how could this day? How could this day? How could this day be good when we behaving so bad? My name is Ivor George, the big boss of the business. Somebody say, all I want one more? All I want one more? Well, the next song I'm going to play, all I have to do what the song said to do, right? All ready? Selector, play. Selector, play me the
him. PNM people, I say, come to me. Come to me. Come to me. Come to me. Keep coming. Oh, yeah, yeah. Ay, 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 ay. Selector. I plan to stop sing soca and go and live in Grenada. Start to sing some chapter song. He'll have me and drink. Oh, everybody do so, do so. I chapter singing in my head. Say, all ya, all ya, all ya. Treating people, I say, oh, yeah, yeah. Go away from where? Go away from where? Go away from where? Go away from where? I said come to me. Oh yeah, yeah. Come to me. Ah yeah, yeah. My love. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I want you to say Juve morning when we start to jam. I said a black lighter and I don't give a damn because from the time they see my face, PNM know it's carnival. But every time I sing my soca song, they wanna fight me on the air. That's why we go stop sing soca and go on. And the first and start to eat jump jump fowl. Every night I lie down in my bed, I jump jump singing. Everybody do so. Treaty people, I say come to it. Oh yeah, yo. Come to it. Ah yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yo. Stop. If I sing this, they go throw me out. Just imagine. Trinidad on fire, Tobago on fire, Trinidad on fire. The people want water, the people want water, the people want water. They don't want it. What the people want, water. What the people want, water. Carnival they jump in the sun, I swear they all in the sun. It's one minute pool that temperature. Put your hand in the air, put your two hand in the air. The people want water, the people want water, the people want water. What you gotta do? Carnival Monday is the rain falling. I want everybody to take a big jump now. Everybody take a big jump. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, jump. Jump up in the water like the rain falling. Jump up in the like the rain falling. I'm gonna sing a classic now. I'm gonna sing a classic now. There we go. I want to see your right hand. Show me your right hand. Put up your right. We're gonna change the verse. I want you everybody say PNM. Everybody say PNM. Where are my people? 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 I cannot understand when I'm in a session. Everybody, we are so. You say you're big enough. And me say tell her we don't like that. We gonna fix that. Get ready to jump up. Hey, show me all your 2 1 in the air. Everybody say Trinidad. Trinidad. Where are my people? Where are my people? Where are my people? That's it. That's it. It's over.
Let me see your right finger. Oh, that was just excellent energy. Iowa George bringing some of the best artists live, energy live, place on fire. Laurel, what do you think?
A feeling of hope, a feeling of pride, a feeling of absolute promise. This is what the PNM is offering to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. 141 competent candidates, 141 persons who you're going to make the right choice for. And you know, we're talking about right now reform, and reform being the right choice. We have the right leader, we have the right candidates, and we're asking you right now to make up your minds to vote for the People's National Movement and vote for a credible platform.
Issues
exactly.
And the right solutions.
The right platform.
And the right answers. And it is in the right balance, because what we're seeing is that this applies for the benefit of all. And I think that the testimony, the proof of that, is the fact that we've had some powerful people come across to the PNM, join us on stage on the basis of policy. And policy is something that matters, folks. So Do we believe in a better life for Trinidad and Tobago? Yes. Is our country in need of improvements, and can we all work better to make it a more wonderful place? Yes, we can. But this is the best of Trinidad. Election time brings out volunteerism, it brings about contribution. We had hundreds of people come for screening.
Oh, yeah.
Laurel and I have seen from the screening committee perspective what the best of Trinidad has to offer. Young people who want to step forward and represent. Laurel, do you remember there was a gentleman who screened who said that with tears in his eyes that he's living the opposite of the life that he had grown up in, and that his reason for wanting to serve was to stand as an example that life can be better.
Yes.
And we were so proud in the PNM
Correct.
to see people like that join us and come forward to serve their communities.
And we've had so many candidates. I mean, we chose 141, but there were hundreds of others who we were unable to select, but who we were tremendously grateful for coming forward too. And it shows that people are answering the clarion call of the People's National Movement.
Absolutely.
To be of service and to really reform the local government. I want us to imagine what our future would look like under a reformed local governance system. Talk to us about how San Fernando would be.
Could you imagine not having a runaround because central government didn't give you the money that you needed, that you could actually get from your $3 a day in property taxes? Can you imagine asking for a pothole to be repaired, a light to be repaired, to ask for your garbage delivery to ask for your municipal police to patrol your streets in greater numbers with greater technology? That's what reform is about.
Correct. And this is an opportunity for us to really be the best of Trinidad and Tobago. This is a new page, it's a new chapter, it's our chance to write a much better, brighter future together with this reform. And we're calling on all of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to really partner with us, understand the importance. This is possibly the most important local government election we've ever faced.
Remember that local government, we're asking to work in tandem with central government.
Yes.
We'll continue to do our part in the parliament to push for witness protection, to push for whistleblowing, to push for bail laws that restrict criminals from coming back out. All the things that the UNC stands against us on, that works together with local government. Let's deal with this local government now. Let's give that power, but we give you the assurance as the government that we will continue to fight the pieces that work together being delivered into that equation at the same time.
Because everything is interconnected.
Yes.
Every single thing is interconnected. And I sat in horror many times. You've come to pilot legislation in the House, and we are getting so much opposition from the UNC. There's no reason for you to oppose just because you are the opposition. Yeah? Okay, so we're really having a wonderful time outside here, but the program is coming to an end, and so we're going to throw you stateside now for the vote of thanks, which will be done by our party's welfare officer and the chairman of the National Youth League.
With a big thanks from us both, Laurel and I.
Yes.
People's National Movement, Ms. Maxine Richards, and the chairman of the National Youth League, Ms. Shanika Curtin, to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of the People's National Movement here today. Let's welcome them on.
PNM family, good evening. Are you ready? Are you ready? Today we both take Today we were both tasked with the responsibility of saying two powerful words: thank you. We begin by saying thank you to the Eastern Chorale Choir who kick-started the program singing our national anthem so lustily. Let us also extend our gratitude to our religious leaders who faithfully invited God's presence this afternoon. Thank you to our party's chairman, the Honorable Stuart Young, for his usual energy and class he brings as exhibited in his opening remarks. PNMites, did you hear the report from our field officer, Mr. Terence Beepat? Wasn't it comprehensive? Wasn't it detailed? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we do it in the PNM. Mr. Beepat, we thank you. And well, you know, when we speak about this young lady, we speak about class, we speak about a powerhouse, we speak about that one personality that can wake up any crowd. Yes,
I am speaking about our Lady Vice Chairman, the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis. We thank you for your remarks. We always look forward to them.
You know that you cannot come to a PNM event and not have proper entertainment. We would like to thank Benjai, Peter C. Lewis, Rishi Singh, Eddie Charles, Colonel Roberts, Isasha, and the Water Lord himself, Neil Iwer George.
To our 141 PNM prospective candidates, we thank you for showing up and showing out. It is no easy task offering yourself a service, and for that, we salute each and every one of you. We thank Ms. Denise Lane, prospective candidate for Claxton Bay Pointe-à-Pierre, for giving us a remarkable candidate speech, and Mr. Marcus Kadari and Ms. Kimberly Small for the candidate's oath.
The Planning Committee and host of today's proceedings, thank you for the remarkable execution of today's events. It was done in true PNM style.
And lastly, it would be remiss of us not to acknowledge and thank the hundreds of you gathered here today, the thousands of you gathered today in support of the only true political party, the People's National Movement. Your unwavering support and love for our party does not go unnoticed.
Don't forget, on August 14th, vote resoundingly for the PNM candidate in your area. And on the night of August 14th, when we are victorious, we will all join and say in one voice, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
We thank you.
We thank you.
So folks, thank you for joining us at our general convention where we have presented our 141 candidates for consumption, where you've listened to our issues, you've heard from our political leader and the Prime Minister of the country, you've heard from the candidates themselves as to why this election is important. We leave the fate of this country to your right index, and that finger has the power to decide where our country heads to. We ask you to vote for reform. We ask you to vote for autonomy. We ask you to vote for less runaround. We ask you to vote for more municipal police on the ground. We ask you to vote for your $1, $2, or $3 in property taxes on residential properties to go for use right where you live. We ask for the power to repair schools. We ask for the power to have transparency at your fingertips. We ask you to replace ministers with councillors as it relates to some functions so that you have better representation. Laura?
This was a really fantastic event today. We heard a wonderful vote of thanks, but we want to remind you tomorrow is nomination day. So tomorrow, PNM is going to field 141 candidates as options for you to select to make this reform very real. So we're asking you to make the right choice. Support your candidates tomorrow on nomination day, June 26th, and then more importantly, on August the 14th, we are asking you please to come out and give your fullest support to the People's National Movement and to this reform process that will transform your life, and it will transform the delivery of services to you, the people, the burgesses, and the wider national community. Faris.
Simple message from me, bring it home.
Please.
Time to bring it home.
Yes, and the PNM loves you. Always remember that, and we will always act in your best interest. That we can assure you.
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Faris Al-Rawi.
I'm Laura Lizama Lee saying it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Great is the PNM. Have a wonderful evening, Trinidad and Tobago.
God bless you all.
Nah man. Are you ready for performances? Now they say PNM people love to party, so I want to see if all are proud. Let me see every...
The preceding program was a paid political broadcast.
This is TTT
Live for local.